TriHex.
I arrive on behalf of all.
We are now. I was expecting like 2 hours.
Yeah, that was the call there.
We are
how long was it?
4.5.
Oh, I was supposed to be here sooner. Oh, I mean,
it is now. It is late.
I mean, I'm sorry. Am I invading on like prime wake time?
No, quite the opposite. This is now. We're in like now. I react and talk for extended periods of time.
So now I got you at like second gear, Rabbit in like fifth gear.
You're entire. Yeah, we're in coast territory now. I thought that was Corey for a second. Yep. This is Corey.
I mean, you told me to do Mario, so I fucking did Mario. You know what I mean? Like,
I know. I think it's not your
fault. It was copium because I said 2 hours and it was like practice. I did a run. It fucking burned down in 30 minutes and I had to fucking go for it again. So,
how far did you get?
I finished it.
You finished the run?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I got a 1:04. Hour and 4 minutes.
Yeah, you're burning it down then. That's not bad.
Yeah, but I can tell I'm getting better now because like I get really mad now when I don't like make a PB. Like I'm getting entitled.
You have an
to
expectation of performance.
Yeah, the ego's kicking in a little bit now. So I'm getting better.
Isn't it nice though when you just have that like total freedom of every time you do something you get better, and because of that it's like just this constant sense of like, yay, I'm doing it. You know. Like when you first start a game and you start climbing ranks and you're like establishing your elo and something, you're like, dude, I fucking sick, I crush. It's such a good feeling, man. Mm-hmm. It's a good thing TriHex wore a tank, otherwise I thought it would be Corey. Yeah, I think everyone was like, is this Corey? And, I'm glad you started talking because then we could see it's not Corey.
Is that so? Okay.
Yeah. No.
Unfortunate.
It's kind of tomato. Wait, do you usually drink soda? I drink diet soda, yeah, of course. I take no issue with diet soda. I want to expedite the dementia. You know what I mean? Thinking is a burden. Yeah, we got stun locked on Palestine. That was our day.
Yeah,
today.
I saw you were being like Ramble Andy and just like doing all this nuance, and you weren't just getting to the point where either like you're pro or against. So I was getting bored.
Yeah, well, no. I've got a very clear stance. There are things I'm very against. But for me, it's like you got to consider it in scope. Like, it's like you don't just have. It's kind of like, typically you don't just get a senseless act of violence. You know what I mean? There's something antagonizing it over time. And if you look at the history of Palestine as like an independent kind of like, people gradually being sequestered into a corner of a land over the course of, many.
Yeah, no, I get all that. But like, I mean, can we just get to it's like football, bro. You just got to like, what team are you on? I don't all this ramble here. You didn't like. You team USA or you team not?
I think here's the thing. I think that would
Bro,
really break it apart. No. I got a team. Okay. When we really break it apart, we have to consider the ways in which the Mia Khalifa hijab video essentially set the stage for this to occur. And that if Mia Khalifa hijab video never drops... Are you not willing to speak on the geopolitical significance of the Mia Khalifa hijab banger? Honestly, was a single... I don't know if it... I say this with total authenticity. I have not seen it. I only know of it. And I have not watched that from beginning to end. I do not know.
Okay.
I have no idea how it ended.
Can I just pause here and bring up that I deliberately used a loaded frame that was an unwinnable situation there? Like, are you Team USA or not? It's like, was deliberately me being obtuse about the situation.
Yeah, but I think the real question is whether or not, we can make this about women sex workers.
Correct. Indeed. You're right.
How can we scapegoat this onto these whores that won't fuck me? You know what I mean?
Well, I mean, so I admit, I threw you a banger raid message, and you just ignored the final sentence of it, and I was sad about that.
What was the final sentence?
I don't remember. Dude, it was a because the punchline was the final part.
Okay.
I don't know. Does anyone here remember what I said? Like, I don't know. There's probably some VOD frog here who has the thing.
Guys, if audio is low, you're gonna have to deal with it. Okay, y'all are just women with penises.
No. Do the whole thing though. The whole thing.
Okay. Are you and TriHex just gonna shit on incels, grunt about how much pussy y'all get? Meme on semen retention proven science, by the way, and call us r/nofappers, the flat earthers of sex. I hate you too. So good luck.
So
good looking.
Oh, good. It's supposed to be good looking.
Good looking, confident, and mentally healthy. Ick. Y'all are just women with penises. It's true.
I thought also proud of that because it's like, look at you, just good looking and just like fuckable.
The world at your oyster. You know what
y'all
I mean?
are just like women with penises.
It's a
What
shame.
the fuck? Like you're not barely even men.
Yeah.
The fuck is this?
No, you don't have enough grit. You haven't endured enough pain. You know?
Yeah, that I thought. Dude, I was cooking so hard. That's almost copy pasta worthy right there. Like
it's a good one. We have a whole copy pasta reservoir here that we keep all of our copy pastas.
Oh,
together.
you actually do? Holy shit!
Yeah,
wow.
We have something for people to reference at any point.
Damn.
You know what I mean?
I'll cook harder next time for the Hall of Fame. But I do think the implication that another guy would insult you by calling you a woman with a penis, like unironically, is kind of like amazing.
Yeah, but you know, it's like it's only meant to denigrate in the event that like it's just funny like the opinion on women and how it shifts so radically depending on like the psychological state of the incel. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
There's a lot of contention there. A woman with a penis is futa, and I love futa cocks.
Mm-hmm.
You see, man, this is what's interesting because it's like
I gotta take on futa if you want.
Yeah, what's your take on futa?
Oh, you want to just what? Wait, are we just gonna like go in any direction here? Or are we supposed to like pretend that we're gonna like introduce what the topic actually is? Or we just
we lead it. We here's the thing, man. A natural flow.
Natural flow. Okay, we just
futa is also like it's its own disc. Like, give us your stance. What do you feel about it?
Okay.
Too big, not big enough.
No. I think it's incredibly relatable to your typical virgin because like if you're a virgin, right?
Yep.
Like the idea of like fucking pussy is like foreign to you. Like the sensation, you're just like it's all imagination. However, the sensation of like masturbation and penile pleasure is quite savvy to you. So therefore, okay, Futanari is just like all the womanly things that I'm biologically attracted to. It's a heterosexual, whatever, right? But like the Vagu is just like this mystery.
Between you two, I want to see who could run the longest without
cock.
dying.
No homo.
Honestly.
And I know how cocks operate. I know how cocks are pleasured. So I can now relate that. So I get all the femininity, but none of the baggage of being a virgin.
I'm gonna be honest.
Pow.
I think it's way more of like a copium, kind of like, let's call it like a bridge to heteronormative porn in some ways. In that, like, I think a lot of people, like, I remember as a kid being really averse to the presence of penis on a porn video, where like the it was like the visual, let's say like, it was visually jarring to see another cock. You know what I mean? Where I was not familiar with that, to the point to where like, don't get me wrong, I had the same experience of seeing like a vagina for the first time. I was like, whoa, what the fuck am I looking at? That is not what I thought it was.
Wow, it's way lower than I thought. Holy shit.
Well, dude, I used to think, because my whole experience of the vagina came from, my father was a consummate bachelor and just kept wicker baskets. I mean, full of, my father was ready to masturbate in every room of the house. Every room of the house had a wicker basket full of vintage full bush 80s Playboys, and I would consume them like they were Sports Illustrated kids. Like, I mean, like, I'm talking like,
and there was like, so there
5,
was like
6, 7,
now
8.
How old are you when this is like in abundance?
Probably from the time I was 5 on. I would.
Oh, there's just so you're a 5-year walking around. There's just retro vintage bush.
Yes,
everywhere.
And so I remember like when my mother told me about, because I remember like I asked my mom, I was like, you know, because honestly, this is the point. I did it solely to troll my mom, and I remember this consciously, that in TV shows, the quandary parents faced was when a child asked, where do babies come from? You know what I mean? And I was like, oh man, they're like trolling, like they're getting at it. I didn't know, but I didn't really care. I just knew I was supposed to, and my mom would get uncomfortable. So I asked her, I was like, Mom, where do babies come from? And she's like, your father put his penis in my vagina, and that's what happened. That's how you make a baby. And I was like, like, I was
you at like 5 or?
Yeah, no, she stun locked me. I was like, oh shit. Like I fucking, like there was no more conversation after that. I was like, oh shit. You know, and then I remember thinking back on all of the you know, extensive research I've done on the human form, on you know, full bush 80s Playboys, and I just remember that there was like this bushel of hair. And I then thought, like, in reference to my anatomy, like the geography of my pubis, it's like, okay, so the cock is right there. It's kind of like up front.
Mm-hmm.
That has to be where the vagina is. You know what I mean? And so I thought that the vagina would just be this kind of like hollow, like you would have in a tree, buried beneath these tendrils, these bushels, these vines of hair.
Yes.
And that you had to bushwhack to this hollow. Mm-hmm. That in my mind
was
literally
the door beads, right? You just move the door beads and there it is.
And in my mind, it was literally going to be like a void, like a black hole. There was no, like, I didn't even have the context of like flesh or like labia. It was a penis-sized hole.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
That you just kind of like docked into.
Yep.
Like you were like fueling a jet.
Can I give you like you're actually awakening memories I forgot I had here.
Yeah.
I think one of my earliest vagina exposure videos of porn was like the one where like that it's the classic where like the chick like fucking stretches her vagina comically wide and like the guy puts his like shaved head, his whole head in the vagina.
That can't be real, right?
It was like some like 144p like fucking.
There's no way that's actually.
Dude, maybe she had just given Murphy. She had like a really stretched vagina. I don't know.
That was your first.
Dude, chat knows what I'm talking about. It's the guy. He looks like the security guard from Jerry Springer. I don't remember his name, but he puts his whole fucking head just goes all up in there.
I'm gonna Google this.
I don't even know what you would
putting head in vagina.
You should put whole head. Well, like whole.
Man putting.
Well, whole head sounds like a penis thing, but I don't know if that's like a
skull.
Yeah, I don't fucking know, dude. Like,
a bald guy sticks his head in a girl's vagina. Why is that?
Yeah,
maybe that's the title. Bald guy sticks his head in a girl's vagina.
I can clarify girl's vagina.
Couple rushed to hospital with man's head stuck in his wife's vagina. So clearly this video made waves because this was in 2017.
I mean, except that the video in question, I saw this like in 2003. It was like a long ass time
viral video.
Dude, this is like this is like back in like Kazaa, Napster, BearShare.
Wait. This is like a TikTok thing.
Bro, what is that? That guy's nipples were insane. What the fuck was that?
I'm so confused.
Dude, you are neutering your algorithm right now. You were clicking these like.
That's fine.
Okay, I guess it's already beyond.
It's all there. It's beyond
already
repair.
It's already whatever, right? It's another day on the.
That really happened though.
I don't know, dude. My 13-year-old self, I was like, okay, well, that's a thing. All right, I guess I see. It was just funny because I didn't know it was like. Not normal. I was like, okay, well, damn, okay, you can just throw a bowling ball down the vagina.
My video was kind of like comparably traumatic in that, like, so my best friend growing up, he was the one who kind of like trailblazed pornography for us all, as he was just kind of underparented, right? We all had that friend who was like, come check this out, it's on this computer.
Yeah, just like totally, like LOL, like so borderline stealing their mom's cigarettes.
This is my buddy Ben. I know my chat's heard this video 1,000 times, so just stick with me. Back in, I think it was maybe in the 3rd or 4th grade, we were going to a website that his neighbor Derek had, really implored us to visit, called butts.com. All right. And what we were going to find on butts.com was a medley of old people's butts. And it was going to be, and I quote, very funny, because butts were funny then.
Okay.
And so we, courageously went on to his family's, he had an iMac. He was very rich. His family was cool. We went on his family's iMac and we typed in butts.com. And when we did, it immediately rerouted us to a website called GreekSex.com.
Awesome.
And it was, I remember very vividly, a very olive-skinned woman on all fours in a cop costume. You know what I mean? And there was just one option, and it said enter in Greek. That's all. It was something I couldn't interpret it, but there was like clearly like you enter, you exit. One was green, one was red. Click green, and we get rerouted to a hardcore BDSM website with like many utensils. I mean, like it's not just like the suggestion of dominance. I mean, like it is like a dungeon of BDSM. This is my first time I've ever experienced human sexuality. Okay?
Yeah.
Ever.
So this is like what's defining as like normal for you. It's
and
like,
so we click into a link, and the immediate shot is a man with a pinwheel of spikes on a little thing, rolling spikes down a woman's vagina with it like spread. And I remember thinking, that is not a little vacant tree hollow behind bushels of hair. that's almost a butthole. That is way back there.
Mm-hmm.
Why is it there?
Mm-hmm.
It doesn't compute. And then I had to rewire in my mind the entire mechanics of, like, the machinations of sex, where I'm like, oh, wow, the point of entry has to, like, I was like a Rain Man, just seeing, like, fucking holes in sticks. It's like, what are the levers? And, you know, my mind never, I'm still fucked up, I think, from that one introduction where I'm like, oh, that's what
I agree.
Sex is.
God fucked up. I don't know why he puts the fucking vagina like as a second butthole. It's weird. I agree.
Yeah, fucking. Ugh.
Yeah, just like fuck, try again, bro. Like,
you know what I think is bizarre?
what's that?
Is the conflation of the presence of labia with the mileage, for lack of a better term, of a vagina. Does that make sense? Have you ever heard the people who are like, I see pronounced labia, this must mean this person is a whore. And the vilification of pronounced labia. It's fucking bizarre.
I mean, is this the same crowd that's like doing the whole like...
there are people who don't see vaginas.
The alpha male like TikTok podcast crowd where they're just like, you know, the vagina, it's like a used car. The more miles on it, the more it lowers in value. Yeah, or is this the same thing, or is it like there's like a more nuanced take?
Yeah,
on
the roast beef theory. Yeah, exactly. No, it's this idea that, you know, like.
Oh yeah, the more.
Yeah, I saw this. It was like a meme. It was like fucking weird. It was like truly from the annals of you know, the manosphere. It was like your daughter's vagina versus mine, and it was like weird. First of all, that they were like, because they were suggesting my daughter doesn't have sex, and it was just like bread that was glazed, and the other was like a roast beef sandwich. Have you ever seen
is this that crowd that's like, if your hymen's broken, that you obviously are?
Oh yeah, it's up. It's like
right.
Fucking. Have you ever heard about how T.I. would do that?
Yeah, T.I. took his daughter to. Oh shit!
Jesus Christ,
Whoa.
Dude! What are you doing?
Whoa!
This man is a labia enjoyer. My God, he was like, fucking A, man.
I think he wants to get your attention, let you know that someone earlier, so they found the video.
Normalize the fucking... Yeah, no one would be doing that with... Dude, you could give me one sub. I'll be like, what, dude?
50 gifted.
You found the video? I mean, I guess
you
could, in
someone
theory...
said it was... What was the chat? Bald guy puts head in cunt or something? Someone in chat said they found it, allegedly.
What is the name of it?
Yeah,
What did you search?
Bald guy fits his head in a cunt. On a website called Heavy R.
Okay, you know what? I'm gonna go.
Yeah, we're going incognito. It's just...
fits his head in a cunt. Okay.
All
right. I think my desktop's muted.
Okay.
Oh my God!
You found it, dude. Why you instinctively? Why'd you? Okay, I want to know. While it's a fresh head here, why did you like gut reaction close it?
I'm on stream.
I mean, is it on? Wait,
no,
it's a cold monitor. What were you scared of?
It's just scary. I don't know.
Did you see his? You should have seen how fast he fucking closed that video.
I don't. Okay, I'm gonna click it.
He has to reopen another incognito tab to. Chat, I traumatized him. Okay, so back to my story.
It's just like I didn't expect that much of his head to be in the...
Back to my story here. So I saw this when I was 13. This is my first time seeing vagina. I was like, oh, this is what...
It's not even, like, anatomically...
I know. It's like, you put a whole fucking bowling ball in that bitch.
Do you mind? Is this, like, harassment if I play this? Do you consent to this?
I mean, do I consent? Did I consent to... Dude, the fact
that my God.
Dude, look at this 144...
Oh, my God.
Dude, I know, right? Like...
He's like a...
Dude, look at it. Like...
He's like a linebacker. It's like an NFL nose tackle right now, trying to break. He's like pushing in. He's grounding. He's digging his heels in.
You think I was exaggerating? You didn't believe me. This is. Imagine you're 13. You see this, and you're just like, oh, okay. Well, this is what. And he's flexing now. He's like, all right.
You're like, I'm never gonna be enough,
bro. Like he's like,
it can do all that. This is insane,
bro,
dude.
He's like suffocating. He's actually got... Like,
this puts someone crushing a watermelon between their thighs to shame.
Yeah.
That is not real. Is this not real?
I mean, I don't know.
This is really good prosthesis if it's not real.
I mean...
Like, I don't know. Is he going to pull out?
She's like got like a... You know, it could be her like kneeling and then...
Oh my God, he's fucking her.
I mean, I don't know, bro. I mean, I thought it was real when I first saw it. I mean, it's probably fake, but I don't fucking know. I mean, 144p.
This has to be. It's like you can't see anything, but like it's just like really well done. But I think her legs are underneath this. Like that doesn't look real.
Yeah.
Hold on. Let's see if we can catch the very tail end.
Well, when the camera
what the
like
fuck
pans from her head to like to the Bagoo, you can
Yeah,
probably...
see, this is where it can't be real. That's... Oh, that looks like... Is that a fake leg?
Maybe.
I don't want to ruin this.
What do you mean? What do you mean? I mean, we can just call it fake until proven otherwise here.
Let's see. Do we have show all 48 comments? We're gonna go to the comments.
I mean, people are saying that that was scary as fuck. Lost my boner and everything. Damn.
No, that's taking a dive. I can barely get a comment to watch the video because there's so many ads getting annoying.
I feel like we'd have to like look at like a fresh childbirth vagina. Which
there's
is
no way
whole,
it can go that wide, dude.
Shit.
That's insane. It didn't move at all. There was no elasticity.
Dude, top rated comment.
Faker than girls' tits.
Oh my god, delicious.
I'm gay as fuck. Like, never been with a woman. Am a total bottom. But I find this so hot. She is my queen now. 98 days ago.
Yeah. Damn, that... Wow.
My wife is not that big yet, but she can... Oh, no.
Bro, think about how unhinged it would be to not just have an account at this random-ass website, but then to leave that comment in confidence.
It's so random.
Why didn't you finish reading the comment? The comment was so good.
The comment was...
Okay, the comment said... What did it say again?
She said my wife isn't that wide yet, but she can now take a horse cock completely.
Yeah, that.
She's getting him. She's getting there. It's bad. That's insane. That was your first time seeing a vagina?
Yeah.
Oh.
And I thought, okay, well, it didn't scar me though. I was just like, oh wow, that's very not how I thought that was gonna be. Okay.
Yeah, no, I'm not scarred, but I do think that early exposure to like aggressive BDSM pornography is maybe biasing some of my like adult experience.
Oh,
you
no,
know
certainly.
what I mean? Like it can't yet because it's all up there. Like it's all tabby. Like I clearly can recall it. So it's there. Seeing that so early, I feel like it would give me such a complex about my dick. Yeah, but at the same time, it's like, the whole concept of like the cock as presented in porn is to placate to the male power fantasy of like having what's essentially like the isekai superpower fiction of having a big dick. Like the whole thing is like this man has a big dick and therefore all he has to do is drop his trout and everyone will want it. That's like the whole premise. Wait, he gifted 50 subs just now again?
I don't think so.
No. I think I already reacted to the 50, which of course enormous. I mean, you can never react to 50 gifted enough, but thank you.
Oh my god, Coke Gaming. Oh.
What?
Yeah, you gotta like.
Oh. What was co-gaming? What was that?
Oh, you don't know what that is?
No.
Oh my god, that's such a great meme. So, like in 2017, right?
Mm-hmm.
Twitch comically had like a terrible ad agency on behalf of selling their ads. If you think the ads are repetitive now, they were like infinitely.
Interesting.
Pre-2019, it was fucking awful. And whenever they would get like a paid gig sponsor, Coke for their entry into Coke Gaming,
it would just fucking...
Oh my god, no, this played like 6 times in a row, like no cap. It was just like the thing you saw everywhere constantly.
Oh god.
And it's just really shitty. You can probably Google it. It's like 30 seconds. It's really shitty. But the fact that you don't know about this is insane because it was everywhere. Like it was
never once.
It was saturated on Twitch so often, everyone would just meme on it.
I never watched Twitch.
Huh?
I never watched Twitch. Like ever before I started streaming.
I mean, you don't have to even like. I mean, chat, back me up here. It was everywhere.
I went out.
No, you don't have to even watch the ads because people would just meme on it without the ad even present because it was so fucking ridiculous.
I literally never heard this in my life.
Oh my god. Well, bless your heart, sweet summer child.
I am completely free of this. At least you could skip back then. Yeah, but
So Coke Gaming, what they did with their newly formed Coke Gaming was they would go to random like smaller streamers and just like do like 100 gifted or like I'm sorry, no, that's way too much. I'm sorry. They would do $100 in bits, whatever, 10,000 bits, whatever the fucking number is. oh my god, Coke Gaming, 1,000 bits, and then they were just, it was so comically overacted, and it was like
porn. It's porn acting.
Yeah, it was in a supercut of just like that, and it's like, look at us, Coke Gaming, giving $100 to these streamers. It's like, oh my god, like, you don't have like fucking millions and millions and millions to throw at kind of ad shit. Mm-hmm. So yeah, like, if you like pull the ad, it's just like the girl just like doing the absolute perfected porn moan. Oh, Coke Gaming. Yeah. Oh.
Think about how many more subs you'd get if you committed to this.
I mean, probably.
Think about how sauced you'd be.
I mean, the problem is, like, I'm bringing up like a 2017 meme like it happened yesterday. It was fucking 6 years ago, but like.
Coke Gaming, what is this?
Oh my god, the pasta, bro.
Coke Gaming, thank you so much for the 10,000 bits. Thank you so much. Thank you, Coke. Wow, Coke is like, we don't do ads, and then make something that. The
fact that somebody had the pasta, dude, it was everywhere, bro.
Okay,
the minute the ad pops up, bro, dude, just the chat would devolve into that right away, just to roast it.
Level up your gaming with Coke Gaming. Is it this? It's from 1 year ago.
No. Yeah, you're doing no. Do Coke Gaming Twitch ad. It should be really easy to find.
Is it not going to be the top one?
I don't know. I mean, maybe.
Yeah. What's going on?
Wait. Oh my gosh.
Coke, are you serious right now?
Coke Gaming, what? You're invited to the Twitch partner.
They can hear it right now.
Oh, okay. Is that
program? I just got.
It's your stream. I don't know. I don't know if you wanted to see
I'm afraid of there being anything on any of these tabs right now. I'm terrified. Okay.
Oh my god, what the hell? What's going on?
Wait, oh my gosh.
Coke, are you serious right now?
Coke Gaming, what? You're invited to the Twitch partner program. I just got partnered.
We got partner, boys.
What? Coke Gaming, what is this?
I would love if at the very end of this, it's just a Russian man sticking his bald head in a woman's pussy.
Dude,
wow,
Coke Gaming?
Thank you so much for the 10,000 bits.
Thank you so much. Thank you. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Coke.
We got partner.
Why are they talking about getting partnered?
I don't know, because like I guess like Twitch told Coke the easiest way to like win and is to be the deliverer of the good news and shit.
Oh, so they would deliver the partnered?
Yeah, I don't know, some bullshit like that. You know, it was, you know, whatever, fuck, you know.
You'll put a Coke in her mouth.
Whatever.
That was an epic fucking.
Whatever
line,
it takes to like view it less as a sterile brand trying to be relatable and rather it's like it's an actual person.
Yeah.
I love Coke. Me and Coke, you know, I DM the Coke brand account every fucking night before I go to bed. Ask them, you know, WID and how are you and you know how are things and ASL and.
Are you up?
You know, are you, you know, you DTF? Haha, kidding, not really.
Did you ever go into chat rooms as a kid?
Yeah, that was my time.
Yeah.
Briefly, yeah.
Did you ever get into some steamy escapades?
Yes and no. I did it not because I was romantically interested and actually horny, but rather I really wanted to just like hang out with the cool kids. You know, I knew that the chat rooms for kids were fucking lame as fuck, and I wanted to go where the actual adults were. So I would try to like pass as an adult if I could.
How would you pull that off?
When I was 11, terribly. When I was like 13, 14, less terribly, I would say. Yeah.
And then you realize kids are pretty dumb, right?
Yeah, gullible and everything else here.
Yeah, and that maybe it was just a bunch of kids in chat rooms being like, "We're adults."
That the problem is like you're bringing up some deep memories. I don't really think back to like when I was doing the fuck because to me it's all just filler. I was like I don't fucking know what I was doing.
It was all like his tutorial. I skipped it.
Yeah, it's all like like nothing of significance happened there because it was inconsequential ultimately. But like,
I remember that I had a friend who was constantly orbiting. He would orbit chat rooms for lesbian women. He was in the 4th grade.
Okay, so he would go to specifically lesbian chat rooms and try to pass as a fellow lesbian?
Yeah.
Respect.
Yeah, that was his thing. He was 10. I remember I went on AOL Kids chat rooms when I was 9, and someone to catch a predator'd me when I asked one offered to be my girlfriend. I think presuming that I was an adult, and she was like, I'm 12 and I'm looking for a boyfriend. I'm like, shit, I'm 10 and older girls into me. And I was like, fuck yeah, like, what are you doing? Like, where do you live? Like, fucking. And then she was like, my dad is like, I was like, will you be my boyfriend? I'm like, fuck yeah, I'll come meet you. We'll do this.
Yeah,
She was like, my dad's a cop and he's gonna find you. And I panicked because I didn't realize, one, what she was actually doing was that this is probably a grown man, like, trying to fuck with other grown men. What I thought was, like, I had done something wrong somehow. Like, I was like, I must have broken a rule. Otherwise, there's no universe in which this person would be sicking her cop father on me. You know what I mean? It's like, what I thought was, like, he didn't want his daughter dating, and so he was going to hurt, like, he was going to come find me.
Of course.
And so every time the phone rang for the next 3 weeks, I panicked. And it wasn't until I was, like, 22 reflecting on this that I was like, oh, they thought I was a pervert. They thought I was, like, a grown man, a pervert.
Wow. Got him.
I was so panicked. I was like, I got my sick online girlfriend, but I never conveyed my age, I don't think. Like, I just was like, she was like a 12-year-old looking for a boyfriend, and I was like, fuck yeah, dude, I'm 10, dude. Look at me. Like, look at how lucky am I?
Dude, yeah,
you know?
dude, she's fucking cute. She's like extra fuckable, but I'm 10 years old, so I don't know what that is yet. So I'm just like, you know,
no clue at all.
Yeah, I'm just trying to bait it up, you know.
To this day, they still think they outed a pervert. I was so panicked, man. I thought our cop dad was gonna come find me, ground me. I don't know.
Yeah.
He was gonna tell my mom I was dating people online, and I'd be over. You know what I mean? I couldn't go back on.
Mrs. Wake.
Yeah.
Do you know where your son is visiting?
Your
on the internet, on the World Wide Web.
Also, dude, I had a friend.
He's been in inappropriate chat rooms. I have logs here.
Yeah, he was like, cool, be my girlfriend. That's cool. We can kiss. Fuck yeah. Oh, fuck yes, dude. Fuck yeah. I've not kissed yet. That is sick. Also, I remember in World of Warcraft, I had this friend who I met. He was like a grown man with multiple kids who was like, kind of like sussing out where I lived. And he and I talked a lot, and it was never weird. Now that I like, when I look back on it, this was an old man.
So your WoW mutual had kids.
This was like 2004, 2005.
You're a lot younger. You're saying
I was a child. Yeah.
Okay.
And we like talked to depth about this. He was like from Austin, and so he kind of like knew where I was, and I was like giving him a lot of detailed information, like knowing that this wasn't a good thing for me to do.
Wait, you knew that wasn't a good thing to do?
Yes, like it had already been.
So you knew about stranger danger and all that.
Yeah, but you know, me in my like, you know, supposed delusion of like omniscience was like, oh, but this guy's cool. You know what I mean? Like,
he's
he's
one of the boys. Yeah,
he was a night elf hunter. I was a night elf hunter, and so we would just talk, and it was weird because eventually he just kind of stopped logging in. And when I look back on it, this was probably just an old dude who was like happy to talk to someone while he played a game. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like he was just having like a social experience that he was probably deprived of through
But you made it explicit that you were like 12 or whatever at some point. You're saying.
Oh yeah.
And then that's when he left. Or he knew you were 12 for an extended period of time.
Early on, because I remember he told me how he was an old man and stuff, you know, and like he was clearly. I mean, I was obviously a kid. You know what I mean? Like, what do you like? Football.
I see.
You're a kid. You know what I mean? He played a female night elf hunter, and she was hot. Paying taxes.
Smoking hot.
Yeah, like, you know, there's like, what do you like? Fucking grounding my kid. Oh, fuck. It was fine. It was easy. He was a nice guy. But I think the chat room culture is really funny to like dissect when you're thinking about the kind of like evolution of internet culture and how there was a trustingness at one point.
Like, what's the last chat room you've
been
in, dude? Like, I mean, do group Discord DMs? I don't even know this is a chat room because it's so fucking.
It's not, because you would go into like private conversations and
it's so different than what it was then. Like, I feel like, see, the thing is, like, here, because of where everyone gathers in this chat room, it's like there's a shared agenda.
Yeah.
Of like consuming a content, right? We're in a theater, if you will, where we're allowed to speak.
But I feel like forums were similar, but the difference is that it's a live performance.
Because I'm bringing up like AOL chat, like the true, like, it was pretty much chat roulette minus porn.
You're commenting on the same thing. Do you know what I mean? Which makes it such that like there's now like there's a shared objective in engaging with the content. It's not just like people with shared interests trying to meet each other, which is kind of what it was. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And yeah, well,
I'd
chat
argue,
rooms are fun.
I'd argue the chat rooms of yesteryear were more like Match.com minus the romantic interest.
Yeah.
Well, for most, but once you're confirmed the woman, it's okay. Yeah, I want to fuck. What's up?
I wonder how many women there really were.
Oh.
Or how many men there were who just wanted to, like...
Oh, dude, I'm just gonna assume absolute sausage fest until proven otherwise. Like,
yeah, I think that it was... That's the other thing, too. I was talking about this earlier, that I think that a lot of, like, let's say, like, concept of avatar as self in virtual spaces and the amount of men who gender bend in online spaces is, like, a direct reflection of a need for, like, respite from the, like, let's say, like, demands of a very rigid and gendered, like, expectation of behavior. Do you know what I mean? Where they can play dress up with their cute little girl character that they get to,
they get to,
parade around
all the what's the word, regressed experimentation. Yeah. It's like, well, okay, yeah, they get to wear the dresses, they get to try on the women's garments, they get to put on the knee-high stockings, they get to...
100%.
I don't get to do any of the fun shit. I have to just, like, stare and, like, curiosity intensifies. I'm like,
Dude, being catfished is not fun. Yeah, that's kind of a brutal reality of meeting people on the internet for sure.
Yeah.
But I don't know, man. Let's see. So do we want to get into, like, what we were talking about? Like, what we had on the docket?
Yeah, sure. I mean, I feel like... if we don't like intro the topic here, we have then they're just thinking that we're just genuinely like porn obsessed losers. So I feel like if we at least introduce the buzzword here, like, okay, we're not talking about porn because we're obsessed with it or dare I say porn enthusiasts, but rather there is a particular angle to porn that we found was a very interesting truth to dissect and find.
Well, yeah, I think the premise that we kind of went in with was discussing like the kind of like, let's say like tandem evolution of like porn production and consumption, how it is we're consuming it and how it is it's being, let's say like produced to more, let's say like aptly, I think, like play onto the expectations it's been creating for itself. You know what I mean? Like we can talk about like maybe the evolution of like, I think cuckold pornography is super interesting because it has shifted from something that I think was like openly kind of canned and performative to something that's been trying to like replicate like brutal betrayal and like a real sense of like...
No, I think it's a really good topic because Pornhub Wrapped really gave some alarming stats on just like, I say alarming, just intriguing stats about its like its stats year over year. Like it has ballooned. It is, I can't even say balloon. It's up 300% from pre-quarantine to post-quarantine. It is like not even close. It is like by far the most... A lot
of very lonely men.
So okay, before I get into cuck porn, the whole thing here is, the topic is the hyper-reality of porn and what are its consequences.
Like that shirt? No, this is a real woman that I love. Mods, can we ban anyone who has anything to say about this?
So before we continue, then we have to explain what what hyper-reality means. So I can try if you want me to here, but like, so hyper-reality, chat, is whenever you are consuming something that you know is superficial, but you react and consume it as if it were real regardless. Things such as like photoshopped selfies from Kim Kardashian, excessive filter usage, face app touch-up on selfies, and by extension, things that you may need to consider the reality that they're probably a little bit dramatized, such as like porn interactions.
I think that there's also...
Oh, what a fat cock! Oh, fuck me!
I think that porn exists on an entirely different vector, though, than like the concept of like selfies and how it is we engage with them, because we have like tangible real world data and evidence of like engaging with the world, but like many men have not seen cocks that are hard, that aren't their own, and not on porn. You know what I mean? Like most men don't really have a good barometer for what other things may look like or what sex should look like, because they're not having it because all of your mothers are monopolized by me and Sear.
Well, I threw up two examples, and I wouldn't say they're the same intensity, but definitively, like, ultimately, I mean, selfies with touch-up it's not the actuality of of the picture itself. It's definitely you're aware it's a manipulation, but you consume it as if it were real regardless.
But I also think that there are a great deal of people who like aren't fully aware of the manipulation itself. Like there's like I don't know, the concept of hyper-reality I think is like better suited for pornography in the event that we are told and actively consume this narrative of like this is obviously heightened, but it's also the sole point of access we have to that like universe of intimacy. Do you know what I mean? Whereas like when we compare that to the concept of like hyperreality and social media, it's like I think that we can all universally maybe say that there's likely some manipulation. It's the best possible photo one can take, the best circumstances by way of lighting, framing, etc. that we could have, and then maybe there's additional like, you know, cosmetic modifiers or virtual modifiers making it even better. But the concept of it is still like, you know, I can active data.
I can concede that. But at the same time, I would at least ask you to consider here that the Instagram effect, the IG effect, where like people start getting more depressed and have these habitual comparisons of their deficits, that stems from a hyperreality.
And I think that it's like, yeah, I guess where am I trying to? I think
because like think about it, people are only gonna post their peaks on IG.
Yeah.
And then that's to be passed of the facade. This is their average. Your peaks are your average, and then you compare to that. Then you're like envious of that. Then you're jealous of it. And then you're like, well, fuck. Now I hate my life.
Sure. Yes.
Okay. So that's all. If you can concede that for me, then I say that's enough for me to qualify it as like a symptom of hyperreality.
Oh no, I'm not necessarily taking any like. I'm not taking an issue with anything that you're framing. It's more that like I'm trying to think about what makes like porn such a distinct kind of like vehicle for hyperreality, whereas like, and I think it has to do with the absence of like there's external or like experiential data. You know
correct,
what I mean?
Yeah. It's like this is your gateway to that world, and it's like very obviously one rooted in ignorance when you're like 11, 12, 13, using your iPhone on your mom's Wi-Fi, and you're in unsolicited, unmonitored, in private, consuming it at whatever fucking amounts you're doing.
Just to like maybe like make this a bit more, let's say like accessible or pedestrian, like not pedestrian, that's a bit fucking I don't know,
condescending. Ooh,
yeah. Let me like to make it like more penetrable idiots. The whole concept. It's like it's more to say that it is like as something that I think we've all accepted is intrinsically, let's say, elevated in its presentation. Like we all accept that it's performance and that it's not real. It is also one of the sole vehicles we have for understanding or observing human intimacy. Do you know what I mean? And so while on some level we're like, that's where I take issue is like, it's for so many people the sole way in which they'll ever witness or experience sexual engagement. Do you know what I mean? So why that is a problematic thing in the development of individuals, but also why, like, regardless of whether or not it is the case, it can also become just a preferred, like, think of the ways in which individuals will, like, willingly forego, let's say, like, real world development or progress for, let's say, like a virtual sense of development or progress, like in video games, MMOs, etc. It's like it can be something that you recognize to be a concession or some kind of like, let's say, like detriment to personal development, but you prefer the way that it feels. Does that make sense? Like you prefer the engagement of that, or maybe it's safer, something to that extent. It's you've acclimated to a degree of stimulus that makes other things feel unrewarding. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And so I think that that's where like porn is kind of the thing. Beyond even comparison, it can be so stimulating and tailored so directly to a sort of like formative emotion that it can fucking like, you know, really seduce you. Like, Gotta Chase Higher Highs kind of, but like when we talk about things like, let's say like cuckold porn, for instance, and it's
now we go back
prevalence,
to
right?
that one, yeah, all the
It's
way.
like the whole concept of cuckoldry is playing on some kind of like operative and central fear of like betrayal and insufficiency that capitalism's always kind of trying to poke, not to like, you know, usher in a concept of like, you know, being sold something, but like you have to create need in order for there to be like, you know, you have to kind of create demand, because most of the products that have intrinsic demand are well, you know, covered, right? So how do we create this artificial demand? And it's by inspiring a sense of lack or insecurity or an inadequacy, right? And so like it's kind of playing on the same vector of like, you're not enough, this is your central fear, and you're going to consume and consume and consume until you're done. You know what I mean? And that's kind of, I don't know, man, when it comes to porn in particular, I think that it's a phenomenal vehicle for engaging that kind of like, let's say like cross-wiring of fear and arousal that I think is super prominent on like a lot of like actual like neurological assessment. This idea of like, this thing is something I fear and also something I've created an erotic fixation on. And then we have to consider like doom scrolling and like the kind of like, it's like doom cooming in a way where you're just like you're frightened by something, but to accept it and like lean into it and like try to find solace in this inevitability that's been sold to you is somehow preferable than living in delusion opposite it. Does that make sense?
I think there's a lot going on there because I think it's important when you bring up the cuckold porn that you get more specific on what is popping off here. When I was reading about Pornhub Rap 2022, it specified that it is black dudes fucking white women wives and then the white husband witnessing. It's interracial cuckold porn where the bull is a black guy. That's
I was reading articles talking about like the way that they've like completely elevated that beyond that to the point to where it's meant to like create a narrative of betrayal that postures you as the person being betrayed. So like
how do you even do that? Holy shit.
So like it was saying that they'll like use things where it's like they'll like film it as if it's like a Snapchat or a video on a phone that you're getting sent, things like that that'll like weave into the narrative.
Oh man.
Things of that nature become all the more central to the actual vehicle of humiliation, right? It's like you're now being humiliated. You aren't watching humiliation, it's you being humiliated. You know what I mean?
Wow, okay. I didn't know we were doing like 4D cuck porn now. Holy shit.
It's like
Damn.
it's getting increasingly...
I haven't seen this before, actually. I don't even... This whole, like... Yeah, I'm just used to the thing where it's just like, yeah, just a basic, like, yeah, I'm just gonna have, you know, the white dudes jacking off in the corner, and it's just like, you know, some dude blacking the fuck out of this white girl.
No, they're like POVing it now.
I
Which goes to show you,
wow.
like, the extent to which this kind of fascination is. And it's always something where they'll take, like, a pretty small, like, it's like... Here's the reality of like porn and the manipulation of like scale to create a sort of like, you know, like Gandalf Lord of the Rings effect of like penis size. Is it's a confluence of like really savvy angling, a very small woman and a small man with an above average dick, and that thing can look like a fucking world ender. It can look like it sunders the earth. You know what I mean? And so like you get this fiction of like, oh, this man is like a 14-inch dick, but this is like a 4'10" woman with hands only big enough to grip pencils. You know what I mean? And then you give it
agree.
A pretty big dick. You know, like these dicks are big. Don't drink too much copium. But the reality is that like it's not like fucking, you know, let's say like a true fucking like, you know, like
a
trunk.
Yeah, it's not insane.
Like
think about how when you watch NBA and you know the scale kicks in because every NBA player is like 6'5" or taller. You don't get the scale until you see them next to like an ESPN reporter. And you're like, oh fuck, never mind. They're actually like.
I really think that it's maybe even indicative of the human's capacity to like. There's almost like there's the human spirit is almost intrinsic to this because I feel as if it's a lot of young men who are being sold a narrative of enduring in like, let's say, irreparable insufficiency, right? You'll never be who anyone wants to fuck, so don't bother. But you still have this force, this command for intimacy, something that you're like, I still am horny, I still want to fuck. And so you find a vehicle that feels like it is a sufficient alternative. You know what I mean? And so it's a bunch of people that experience being kind of sold on this inevitability and like finding a way to salvage something within it, and it creates this really maladaptive, like, you know, sexual fixation. You know what I mean? And I'll tell you, man, like,
so are you saying
on the whole, do you want to know who the single greatest perpetuator of this kink is? Like, statistically, it is never women. It is never the woman who's like, I need to fuck a man with a big dick. It's a dude who's like, I need to see you get fucked by a big dick, because there's this need, I think, to know.
Yes, yeah.
It's
correct.
almost like, I feel like in most instances,
they have to do like the flat Earth experiment to make sure, like, is this real? Like, I need you to fuck a big dick so that I can verify that you wouldn't leave me over just that, over my incompetence.
It's
right?
like a desire to see that it would happen, you know, that you would. It's like you need to field test this, you know what I mean? But there's still a sexual fixation, 100%, you know what I mean?
I want you to do, black guy, I want you to do your strongest Kamehameha on my wife's vagina here.
Yes.
And if she lives, I don't know, whatever. Like,
it's just brutal. I mean, race play is kind of an interesting point to fetish of like, it's funny because like we say like don't kink shame, but like we have to also like consider like kink shaming and pointing at the point of origin where these sort of maladaptive kinks are taking root, and trying to like iron that out on a societal level, I think is important, because race play is very clearly and inexcusably like an artifact of like essentially like colonial you know, psychology.
Yeah, no.
It's like it has a clear...
That's also why I thought it was important to cover on the hyperrealism. Like, where else is like the race play an intrinsic like celebrated trait regularly in the medium? And it's like it's only in porn where it's like big booty Latinas and like fucking I want to see a black dude fuck a white chick.
What's funny?
Interracial was like specifically like
the way I see it right now is it's like porn is like culturally 25 years behind popular culture, and that like it's still in this place where it's like okay to like lampoon race and like make everything incredibly grounded in like gratuitous like caricaturizations of ethnic groups.
Yeah.
Because like it's just so funny where it's like
it's free. It's for some reason porn's like conveniently excluded from social commentary.
Well, yeah, because I mean we keep it in the dark like we do most topics of sex and intimacy, right? It's like
it doesn't. If it was like if American sexuality wasn't like so publicly shunned for like some artificial like high roading or whatever.
Yeah. Like
I feel like it would enter the public dialogue.
Do we have any EU people in here? Like,
I know it's like it's so different.
In Germany, are you guys like? Yes, it is. That is scat porn. It's a good. We will have. There will be some shit on the chest, but it's not for everyone. Like, do you guys do that? Like, how accepting are you of that? What the fuck is scat porn?
And your mom's asking what scat? Oh man, bro. I know in Japan, scat's way more normalized. Like, you can just, like, it's not uncommon to be able to rent
scat
a
is
sex
whack.
worker and just, like, sir, scat is, vaguely, it's like sexual endeavors involving poop. And I don't know if that's, like, is that the right term? I don't know.
Yeah.
Like, sometimes she'll shit on you, sometimes you'll shit on her, sometimes you'll...
If someone you loved asked you to shit on them, would you?
Man, that's a tough one. I don't know, dude. That's like the... I'm married to this person in question, or I'm in this. We're years in, right? And then just out of nowhere, abruptly,
he was like, "I really need this. I'm dying to know what it feels like. It's been a curiosity of mine for decades. Would you?"
That's a tough one, bro. I really don't fuck with scat at all. I mean, if I love them a lot, I mean, okay, I'll give it. Okay, I'm not gonna cop out. I'm not gonna be a pussy. Okay.
Okay.
If this was really happening, real world scenario, I would say, okay, I would think it's a joke at first, and I would go along with the joke because I'm really uncomfortable, and I would say, okay, let's go to the tub. Let's go to the tub, and let's see if you really want me to do this.
Mm-hmm.
And then I'd have to, like, conquer some, like, let's call it, like, gag reflex. I'd have to, like, break those barriers down and actually be able to fully shit on command on my lover of question here. Yeah. That's as far as I can go. I don't know what happens next.
This is the way I see it.
Okay, go ahead. Please, your turn, because I was like, this is like a, I don't know. Like,
I feel like I would want to know what it was like once, but I think the relationship is kind of doomed. Like, I think I would try it, but I would rather try it with someone I don't know and I'll never see again who just wants it that in one go, because I know I'm not going to like it.
Yeah, of course.
I would love to be able to sign off on it.
The problem is,
but no, listen. Because I think that the issue is that in the event that she did love it, there would be no, like, it's not like you're going to, like, what if that's now something that she's, like, always wanting and you know it? And you're like, you're going at it and you're pounding her and you know in her heart she'd rather you be shitting. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's like that, like knowing that is now
here's
like,
my problem.
the pinnacle of sexual experience, you can't do it.
This scenario is so hard to, like, give you an honest answer on. It's like, okay, well, why is my lover of question just, like, a closeted scat enthusiast for X amount of time and not coming forward with that, like...
That's the other thing, though, is, like, well, because it's because we're reacting like this, as relatively aware people. Here's the big thing. I don't know, man. For me, when it comes to the concept of, like, kink in general and what kinks are worth shaming and what aren't, and what kinks are worth perpetuating and what aren't. I mean, like, you have to question to what extent all porn use escalates to, like I think that there's this massive red herring, and this is kind of like maybe antithetical to the points we're arguing about how, like, porn can, let's say, like, create a sort of, maladaptive kind of sexual fantasy in people. I also think that there are plenty of people who, like, it's kind of like, weed is a gateway drug to me. You know what I mean? I think that there are some people who are more predisposed to that. You know what I mean? But I think that on the whole, most people aren't going to be like, have you ever seen these videos of people talking about their porn addiction, and it's always some fucking, like, conservative family man talking about how he couldn't stop jerking off to gay porn or like trans women.
Yeah, it's a closeted repression because of some like cultural.
Yeah, like look,
stimuli.
man.
Yeah. It's predictables all day. Yeah.
I have been. I mean, like a borderline gooner in my youth. Like I loved jerking off to pornography growing up. It was very accessible for me. I loved it. I would edge for hours. I mean it. Like it was a problem. Never once did I click on a video of two men or a trans woman and just be totally transfixed by it. Never once. It was always like, oh, that's not for me, and I moved on. You know what I mean? If it was ever there.
Yeah, well, you didn't have this giant, like, arbitrary boundary of religion giving you a hard paywall of, like, a cultural, like, taboo.
Yeah, it's where we create this, like, really difficult intersection of ideology where, like, to talk about, like, okay, to what extent are people's, like, let's say, like, prejudices being indulged and reflected through fetish and pornography? And to what extent is it also that some people are blaming pornography for bringing them closer to their legitimate wants and desires? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Because, like, it sucks because we might both be unified under the, like, maybe we should be more mindful of how we consume human intimacy. Do you know what I mean? But then you have this whole, like, like, fucking subset of people who are going to say the same thing, who are literally just trying to make it clear that they're not gay. You know what I mean? I'm not gay. It was just that I was masturbating to pornography, and like I'm not gay at all. And it's a weird thing.
I married my wonderful wife. I have two kids.
I'm just addicted to porn.
I'm not gay. I'm so committed to the hetero lifestyle.
I was only watching hours of man-on-man action because I'm addicted to porn.
I prayed it away. That was the spirits invading my psyche,
issue.
and I went to church Sunday and I donated $50. I usually do 20, so I prayed extra hard to pray the gay away. So I'm good, right? Pastor, tell me I'm good. Just tell me, have I done enough?
Yeah.
Rip. Okay.
Sorry about that, guys. That's
didn't
tough.
I didn't even see it's all good.
Yeah, I don't even
and
know
nothing of
how
value
to
was
address
lost.
it. Well, I wouldn't say that if you read it.
No, I didn't see it.
Yeah.
Okay, well, fuck it. I ain't worried about it then. I didn't see it. I ain't worried about it.
That's fine. Look, if there's any validity to that, please sell all of your things and like move to Hawaii or something and see if you still feel that way. You got nothing to lose.
Well,
yeah. So anyway, what I was saying is, when it comes to Jesus Christ. Okay, so when it comes to porn in general and like the concept of like cuckoldry, I think that there are a lot of people who have more of like maybe a desire for more like non-monogamy and like the experience of intimacy elsewhere, and like some wires get crossed there where like the idea of, I don't know, it's like, how do you arrive at this like end fixation on seeing your partner be fucked better? Is it a way of like, is it like a call of the void of trying to conquer a fear? If I just accept the reality of my like undeservedness, then maybe I'll be free from the burden of that thought. You know what I mean? Like that could be it.
I think that's what it is though. I think it is that, like, it's just like, she's only with me because okay, so in my experience of the limited amount of cuck porn I've consumed, and my infatuation with like this phenomenon culturally that's happening now with cuck porn being on the rise.
Yeah.
I think here about the fact that what I'm seeing is explicitly a saturation of interracial cuck porn.
Yeah.
And that there's also a fixation on color theory where it's got to be like a big black cock fucking a very white woman.
That almost feels like a mechanism of white supremacy, and as backwards as that sounds, because it creates this otherness between you and black men, where you have to see them as this hostile agent of sexual, let's say, like a sort of like sexual kind of like a cataclysm for white women, and that once they've gone black, they can't go back.
They're tainted.
Yes, exactly.
Yeah, it reinforces actually. So here's a cool thing about that actually. Before we continue on that point. Penis size, if you've ever looked at the history of this whole thing actually here, it's rooted in such barbaric racial ignorance that if you go back 150 years, the enlarged member was considered actually a bad thing. Whereas I think in modern times now it's like a clout thing or whatever because of the hyperreality of porn, etc. But like you go back 100 years, not even 150 actually, you can go back 100 years, and the Negro penis was considered barbaric, and that you had less control of your urges and will. Like, so like even if you were like a white guy with a bigger dick, it's like, oh, you're just, you
there
have
was there was a sort of let's say like there was an absence of that kind of like Protestant like puritanical prudence of like you had the ability to like defy that impulse, but that even dates back before like the existence of, if you go look at like old like medieval, like even before most people had ever seen a person of color ever, there was still an obsession with demonic figures having huge hogs. This idea of a big dick was always that. And so there's a very chicken egg thing of to what extent were black men being projected and kind of like spoken on as having these titanic penises, to kind of like, let's say, substantiate this myth of their kind of like demonic essence, you know what I mean? Or to what extent, like, because statistically speaking, guys, there's very little deviation between, especially selected amongst like American populaces, because that kind of accounts for diet and the development of people's let's say like pubescence, you know what I mean? Because malnutrition is going to make for less development in general, and size, height, etc. Probably penis size as well. There's very little deviation among racial groups when actually like in like laboratory studies of people with erections, like it's just very seldom ever the case.
Yeah, most like dick size studies I've ever looked into have like a comically bad sample and control group. And it's just like,
or it's like self-reported.
Yeah, it's like I've not seen really any concrete data that I'm like, okay, this is like a powerful voluminous control that determines some level of substance to it.
No, there's everything that's ever been done like in lab has never documented a significant disparity beyond maybe like quarters of an inch. You know what I mean? On median and mean penis size, length, circumference, etc. And so like it's a great deal of fucking fiction to sit here and like panic over anyone who's like, because I feel like a lot of men have been sold this like kind of like the once you go back you never go black myth, and also just this concept of like needing big dicks, like that is the opera, because it plays on this concept of fear and inadequacy that I think is like the fundamental mechanism of capitalist culture and consumerist culture in turn, is that you need to substantiate your value through the accrual of things and the accrual of capital. You need things and you need money to buy things, and those demonstrate your value, and so there's always a new thing to buy as long as you continue to tell people that they're not enough, and so this idea that I think that you are fundamentally inadequate is a great vehicle to drive consumption. How am I not enough? How am I going to hurt myself by not being enough?
Oh, I got products I can sell you to solve that problem, or I'm sorry, not solve it. That's not more lucrative. Treat that symptom.
Yeah. Also, the idea of a big dick being something that makes anyone come, I think, is moronic. People are like it's very much about size compatibility, dude. Like there is just as much deviation in like the size.
I can't just throw fucking a foot long BBC in any vagina I want to.
There is just as much deviation in like female anatomy as there is male, man. Like the amount of cock a woman can accommodate and the amount of penis a man can vend are typically like one and the same.
That's cap, dude. All my friends, all my bros in the locker room brag about their body count. These women be lying. I haven't talked to any of them and I don't know them, but they be lying though.
They know. It's true. There's nothing that gets a straight man off like a massive dick. No, it's true. We need it. We need a big dick in our porn. It's just not enough. You know what I mean? Any thoughts on the term big dick energy and using small dick as an insult? I don't think that small dick should be used as an insult personally. I think that it does nothing but perpetuate these ideas, and like it's a way for women, I think, to reclaim a sense of like I can shame someone for their body in the way that they have been systemically shamed for theirs. Without, I think like there's not a lot of empathy informing that, and so I understand why it's used.
I agree. When women from like New York say "suck my dick" as a comeback, I'm like, oh, that's hot.
No, like how big is it? You know what I mean?
Yeah, just like fuck it, dude. Like
it's not enough dick for me. I need more dick. Porn created the illusion of larger penis size for certain groups because minority ratios presented even in porn. You're going to have an easier time finding 10 guys with 12-inch dicks in one group than finding 1,000 guys in another group. Well, yeah, of course. I mean, it's just biasing. And also, like, that was the fiction that was still being sold. I mean, that's what people wanted to have played. Look, consumer demands when it comes to black male sexuality were largely in catering to white populaces in the ways that they kind of could be structured into their, sexual fantasies. Like, I think that it's kind of like from the start, it's this idea of sulliedness, of like this person has, I mean, look at even the way that it gets branded in 2020, like blacked. You've been blacked. Like that. That's like you've been painted. You are now like like it's like you're voted off the island. It's bizarre.
If I may finish the point I was gonna make earlier about that. So the interracial cuck porn is on the rise, 300% from 2019 to 2022. Like it's insane how it's by far the most climbing tracked tag and category of porn video now. And you were kind of alluding to this earlier about it being like you just gotta you gotta find the absolute truth or the answer or whatever. And I think that what it does to certain men who consume this gratuitously is that like, okay, what if my wife is satisfied with me only because she's never been black before? And so it's like I have to find the answer. Like I'm no longer emotionally at bay because I have this unverified like itch that like if she were to get blacked, then that's it. Like it's only an ignorance of actually knowing what peak sex is like with a black dude. So I have to get cucked and find out what happens and find the truth.
To me, the operative emotion that underpins all of this is a fear of inadequacy that you are unprepared for. An inadequacy you couldn't predict and protect yourself from. You know what I mean? An invalidation that you couldn't have postured opposite. I think the fear is anyone with a bigger dick, and I think that it's been largely racialized based on how people have postured and perpetuated black men as being the master cocksmen, the dudes with the dongs. You know what I mean? And that's racialized, as we already discussed, especially in that kind of like puritanical sense of like big dick, less control over you're a barbarian, so yada yada yada, right?
Yeah, right. Yeah.
And so like the whole fiction stems from a fear of just encountering something that invalidates your capacity to be the man that you're told you have to be. You keep people in the throes of fear. They continue to consume to like assuage and prepare for the possibility of something occurring. I see it no different than I do people who doom scroll about the collapse of the environment, even though there's more validity to that obviously on a scientific level. But when we're talking about relative agency, it's like this constant doom scrolling about like let's say the Yellowstone super volcano erupting. It's like it's incredibly like you're talking about like really small, like if you are in the range of average, the likelihood of someone finding a penis size that is like considerably larger than yours is low. The likelihood of them enjoying it more than yours because of that even lower. You know what I mean? And so it's like you're dealing with these niche possibilities that to you would invalidate the entire premise of your life at present as a man loving this woman. You know what I mean? And so it's this fundamental fear. The way that we've racialized it is an artifact of I think like borderline segregation propaganda and things of that nature. But I think that it's all orbiting the same central fear that would exist even if it was an Asian dude with a huge cock, even though they've been famously and sadly cast opposite that with no scientific validity as well. You know what I mean?
Yeah, true.
And also we also have to consider the ways in which this affects black men in particular, who I think now have to carry the burden of being these like sexual stallions with huge cocks when the reality is most are normal dudes with normal cocks. You know what I mean? Yeah. As are the same everywhere. It's like now you have this burden of, sexual expectation.
Yeah, and it's all like genetic lottery anyway. It's not like you can really like...
No, you have no control over it. It's the dumbest thing to give a fuck about. It's the dumbest thing. And women on the whole typically do not. You know what I mean? It's, I don't know, man. When I think about it, we have to first conquer this sense of like, cock size is a concept. It is a game of greater rather than a game of precision. It's really just about compatibility, and that's it. It's like, do you fit, and is it stimulating enough? And that is, on the whole, going to be represented by the top of the bell curve. That is probably the perfect intersection of fits and stimulates. You know what I mean?
So would you agree then that men who are developing body dysmorphia over copious amounts of porn consumption, who are getting this false reality that like bigger cock equals better sex, they should promptly go speak to a woman and learn more about like vaginal compatibility and like...
Because then they're going to find out that it's actually bigger number on Twitch.
Wait, what?
It's gonna if they really talk to women, they'll learn that it's all about your view count. You know what I mean? That's what will distinguish
the other penises. Yeah.
No, it's I mean, like, also, but that's the thing is, like, men don't believe women. They think that they're placating to them. They think like that's the big issue is that presently,
that's a good point.
This is the rhetoric.
The victims in question wouldn't even believe women if they spoke verbatim.
Because
right.
that's why cuckold fantasies get brought to the forefront. Is it's like, I need to see you take this huge dick and not like it, and if you make any noise, they will interpret preference. You know what I mean? It's like, it can't be anything. Like,
9 out of 10 options are.
It's like, go figure. Sex feels pretty good, you know? It's like, it'd have to be, like, righteously painful to not, you know what I mean? Like, most people are, like, stoked to have sex. It's also exciting to be with a new person. Like, we have really good data on sexual novelty driving consumption and behavior. It's like, you know, the idea of being with anyone is anyone bigger than average dick actually obsessed with dick size? To me, it seems like it's mostly smaller guys who obsess about size. Oh no, no.
What's the standard here? That's the whole problem. Like, you may interpret like 5 inches as like fucking micro cock for all you know. That's the whole thing. Like, what's the scale? Here's
the thing. I think that all a guy wants to know is that they aren't in competition with someone else. I think that the biggest fear, I think that that's why men obsess over women's virginities to the extent that they do. It's that to say, I won't have my sexual performance and anatomy be compared. And so I think that even if you have a huge cock, the only way you won't be concerned about your penis size is in the event that you actually recognize on some level that it doesn't have measurable effects on sexual fulfillment. And that is like a numbers game. And not until you have sex with enough people, frankly, to unwire that thought, you know, and you really get to see the full spectrum of pleasure and experience and see what, like, play with toys, see what doesn't feel good, see what does feel good. That stuff can help answer those questions significantly, but you're so afraid of climbing down from the ivory tower of your delusion of, like, you know, total excellency that you won't see that, like, it's a total fucking fallacy, this sense of, like, I am the end-all be-all, I am the alpha and omega of sexual intercourse. It's like, you know, I mean, like, some people might do this better than you. Some people might do that better than you. It's like you being so afraid of everything about intimacy and sexuality being determined by some, like, metric of performance, like it's the NFL Combine every time you fuck, is so dumb. You know what I mean? Like, it's not. You have the ability to it's trial and error.
Yeah, in reality, if I may anecdotal Amy for a second here.
Yeah, of course.
Trust me, Chad, your cock size is not going to be the biggest factor on whether or not she gets to an orgasm or not.
Very, very seldom. I think only in the event that you're, you know.
I thought it was actually a meme until I spoke with more women. I learned here that actually there are a non-zero amount of men who are just like, oh well, I came, so clearly she came.
Women,
I'm good.
I'm very lucky to have, like,
I mean, her not coming whenever I already came.
Yes.
I was laying that A1 dicking in. Like, that was a mean 70 seconds.
Well, because again, there's like,
she's definitely good for sure.
There's a literal baked-in cheat code to every sexual encounter you'll ever have in your life, and it is, when you finally, okay, you guys have made out for a bit. I'll give you the recipe. All right. Kissing for a bit, maybe use a little bit of your hands. You really try to stimulate the whole body, you know what I mean? And then maybe you are starting to, like, disrobe, you know what I mean? Shed some layers of clothing, so on and so forth. I want you to, what you need to do is kind of put, like, one hand right on the side of her face, kind of right on the cheek. I need you to look into her eyes and ask, what do you like? What do you like to have done to you? How do you get off? Can you show me? Just ask her. Ask her how. She knows. Just ask her. She knows.
No, pause.
You're like a dad on a fucking family vacation.
No.
Like, you need
Wake
to.
Is
like,
some
you
fucking.
need to,
He's
you
a
need to
pro
get there
cuck.
yourself.
Right? That's cuck behavior. No.
Oh yeah, ask her how other men have made her come.
No, that's also.
Why? So she can imagine having sex with them.
You're being a cuck, now you're being a beta. Okay, that's beta behavior. No, what you need to do is you have to go for the hard read on projecting whatever the fuck you want to do onto her. Mm-hmm. And if it doesn't work, you didn't do it good enough.
I'll tell you what the ultimate...
You double dip and then you triple dip on it.
Do you want to know what the ideal male build is? I'll tell you what it is, all right? It's small dick.
Okay.
Huge balls.
Okay.
A lot of cum.
Okay.
Premature ejaculation, all right? You fit into every hole. You have the absolute master key of a penis, okay? You are never going to be denied entry. No need for lubrication or foreplay.
What if you pre-cum to
Coming...
her?
Sub 20 seconds maximum. Everything over 20 seconds, wasted time. You're in and out. Hardly, maybe just in and then immediately back out. First thrust, come out. That's how you perpetuate your bloodline. That is alpha sex. We have created a performance. It is the feminist agenda to convince you that sex needs to be anything other than ejaculation, all right? It's just about getting the seed in there, all right? Small dick, huge balls, lots of cum, premature ejaculation. Those are the 4 pillars of
but what
the
if I'm like
alpha
really
male.
good at premature and like I come to like just like hand over the sweatpants, like just like just like we're still in the foreplay and I come. Like,
then what you got to do
is that like am I sigma at that point, or I need
what you got to do at that point is you got to like kind of just like it's kind of like you put like too much toothpaste on the toothbrush and you're trying to like shove it back in, you just got to collect and kind of jam it.
Okay, just kind of like cup it
just
and
scoop
then
it out and get it,
then,
yeah.
And then like pour it on the vagina or like.
And she'll come every time. Dude, do you want to know what's funny? I had a girl and we were like kind of like into each other. We were young. I was like maybe 14.
Okay.
And I think we had just finished 8th grade. It was like that day, and we all went out to like a karaoke bar or something, and we were kind of like kissing and talking and shit. And I remember we were like joking back and forth. She said something like, girls don't come. And I was like, what do you mean? Like, I think girls come. You know what I mean? And then she was like, no, girls come when a guy ejaculates inside of them. It's like that's when women have orgasms. She legitimately, in plain face, told me, she was like, women have orgasms when men come inside of them. And I'm like, that is. Bro. And that is like the most untethered stance I've ever heard on the female. Like that is legitimately some dude being like, "I gotta come inside, dude." Do you feel that shit?
Yeah, yeah.
You fucking like that, dude? That was real. This guy, I didn't fuck at 14. Okay, I didn't. Okay.
Yeah, I didn't. Kind of cringe. I was a virgin until I was 22, actually.
I didn't lose my virginity until I was 18. I mean, I was beating women off with a stick. I was beating men off too.
I was like a probably a top 1,000 globally ranked competitive fapper, I would say.
I masturbated way too much.
Yeah, I was pretty.
Lot.
I was pretty crazy with
That's
it.
also why I have like a pretty strong stance on it. Is that like I know what healthy porn consumption looks like, and I also think that there is a disastrous amount of men who have sexual exploration, pornography, and masturbation vilified because they have a let's say like a less than ideal first sexual encounter. You know what I mean? Where like maybe you don't get as hard as you want, you don't get hard at all, you don't come, etc. A lot of times that's really just stress and anxiety. You have an enormous amount of expectation thrust upon you.
If you think about it, right, the very people we're talking about who are victims to the hyperreality of porn, they probably have some kind of, like you're saying, anxiety over like actual like stage fright, performance anxiety over like, okay, well, I have to make her come, because if I make her come, then will she tell all of her friends? Will she do like the laughing girls .gif thing that you perpetuated in porn? Like you have to like, you got to get her to, because if you just like pre-nut and then like you're soft or whatever, and then because you're emotionally panicking over the fact that you just pre-nutted, like, you're totally out of it now.
Yeah, but it's just pre-nutting. It's like pre-gaming. You know what I mean?
Yeah, but think about it, right? Like okay, so like pre-nutting can happen because whatever, right? You're overstimulated, whatever the fuck you're. But now you're like, you exit arousal, and now you're like on the stress of like, oh fuck, I'm out of the arousal because I just fucking I came before her. It's a sigma weakness here. Damn, you couldn't outlast a bitch. Wow, bro, you're pathetic. I'm just thinking of like what the hyperreality can do to people. It's just like fucking distort their like all these like arbitrary
the
like.
The point is that you've only ever witnessed picture perfect sexual experiences on some level that are also like tailored and choreographed.
That's all you see in the porn, though, right? Is exactly that. Like it's only it cuts to the dude, skeeting after she came. It's always like, or I think anyway. I don't know.
Yeah,
like,
and then Big J comes out from the other room and he's like, "I'll take care of this." It's I don't.
All right, get out the way, white boy.
It's one of those things where like there's no like real solution to it outside of like better like candor and like transparency between like parents and sex educators and kids to make sure that like you talk about like the actual consequences of over consuming porn prior to, because I feel like we really write it off as like, you might have some like kind of out there expectations, but I think even your awareness of elevated expectation doesn't change the fact that you want to meet it. Do you know what I mean? It's like you want to be this like, you know, and I think that we also see a lot of like, there's a lot of infidelity fantasies in porn, and a lot of people who are like, you know, my husband doesn't have a dick this big, even if it's not interracial. It's like this idea of your penis size being the de facto power fantasy. It's like men have reduced the concept of the penis down to this like, if you have a big cock, it's like you have like an isekai superpower that disrobes women and makes them orgasm. You know what I mean? Like you're born again. Like it makes no. It's the most shameful part of it is that it's essentially told men that it is like it is the ultimate privilege. It is the thing you need. It will open every door. All you have to do is drop your pants and women will want to fuck you.
I have a question here.
Yeah.
Do you think this stems from how like male nudity was debatably more normalized decades ago? Like, you know, like. Think back, like, 80s high school, just, like, guys getting in the shower, just dick everywhere, and, like, it was, like, I don't know, as I feel like now this whole, like, being exposed to male nudity is, like, I want to say I feel like it's gone down, like, it's decreased, and I feel like...
Maybe, I mean...
I feel like Zoomers never see each other naked, whereas comparatively, like, millennials maybe sort of, like, Gen X and before definitely have more, like, just... Hey, it's a dick, whatever, bro. Like,
I also don't think there's been an extent, like, because you have to remember, there was the question, does size matter? But that was, like, literally, like, people being like, oh my god, wait, that feels better if it's bigger? Like, people didn't, like, you don't have, like, before there's, like, video porn, a lot of people didn't have that at all. They just, like, pornography was
You know what,
nude
that's,
women.
okay, pause
so
it.
you
That's
have no experience of, like, watching women's sexual fulfillment be performed.
That's a really good point. I mean, let me pause here. So let me bring in some context, right?
Yeah.
So... Chat, the inception of home video came from the Great War of Betamax versus VHS, which started like in 82.
Mm-hmm.
But ultimately, VHS won by 85, 86 because it was cheaper to manufacture. But most importantly, pornographic home video adopted the cheaper of the two mediums, which VHS won, even though Betamax had better quality. VHS was a cheaper product to consume and produce. So, like, pretty much the inception of, like, popularized pornographic home video is a very, relatively speaking, it's a very new thing. It's like literally the second half of the 80s. Like 85 onward is like porn VHS home video.
Mm.
Just want to clarify that because it's like that's pretty fucking new. Like we're talking about, you know,
this is
40 years ago.
I kind of think the discourse, hey, stop pinning things because when you pin them, I think I get subs and I get distracted every time. Please, my beautiful, beautiful mods. I'm like, oh shit, did something happen that I need to address? And I get super confused.
Wait, what does Tom here mean? I think he's older than Wake, so Wake doesn't get it. I get it.
What?
Wait, what?
No. I think he just
I
wanted to.
I don't know. I don't think it was.
So the point I was trying to make, moreover, is that I think the discourse has changed from does size matter to size doesn't matter like I've seen it. Do you know what I mean? It's now there's an implication. The implication is that size, of course, does matter because everything you consume regarding human intimacy until you have sex is affirming that this big dick is all I've ever wanted. I'm looking for a big dick. It's better than my husband's. It's better than my boyfriend's. No one's got a dick like this. I'm addicted to your dick. I need more of this dick. Yada, yada, yada. It is all about exalting the penis as this end-all, be-all, element of human intimacy. Do you know what I mean? Mm-hmm. So the question, I think, at one point was, oh, wait, I saw John's dick in the shower. It is bigger. Does that matter? It wasn't like, please tell me it doesn't because all I'm seeing is that it does matter. The question people are asking when they say does size matter isn't does size matter. It's please tell me it doesn't. You know what I mean? Tell me it's a lie. Tell me this is performance and that it's a fiction, right? Like that's what it became, you know? And I think that so much of like the problematic kind of like points of obsession come from that sense of inadequacy based on what you witness. Same thing with, I imagine, women in consuming a great deal of heteronormative sex with women that are literal, like, you know, like Build-A-Bimbos. It's like this, like one of a, like tailor-made, like under the knife, like this is exacting and trying to like essentially like identify and exact a sort of like male sexual obsession, you know?
Wait, slow down here. So you're saying that there's also women who...
I think women who are like, oh, I need to have like big tits and I need to have like this fucking, you know...
Okay, so they're fixated on their flaws and their half.
But I'll also say that I think that if anything, I don't know, because I feel like porn is also really interesting in that it creates a much broader sense of sexual viability for women, whereas men, it's like regardless of who that person is, the thing is always going to be, the dirty talk is always, that's a big dick, you know, almost always. Do you know what I mean? Mm-hmm. I don't know, man. It's an interesting caveat there, because I don't know to what extent like we have all these interesting intersections of like regional prejudices making their way into sexual fantasies, and like the way in which I guess we kind of like can't help but like consider our fears in sexual contexts as being somewhat adjacent to or relevant to our fears elsewhere, the thing we don't understand, the thing that we're not, surrounded by enough, What are you thinking?
I'm thinking that I haven't told you about the other X factor here. We haven't talked about the monetization of the industry and how the industry is honestly sustaining this, like, the whole thing. So, yes, interracial cuck porn is on the rise, but simultaneously, the porn industry rates are reaffirming, like, a second class or some kind of thing going on here because, like, literally... So, of course, yeah, women get paid more than men on average for porn, as porn actors and actresses, right? But, like, women who are willing to do interracial, like white women, they get paid more. Like, they're higher on the market value. Like, literally, white women are definitively paid more. Because I was reading about this, like, article about it forever ago. But, like, white women, they're asked at the shoot, or the shoot in question when the contracts are being done here, like, what are you tolerant towards doing in the shoot? And the more things you tick yes, the higher your rate can be offered competitively. So it's like anal, oral, cream pie, interracial. And, like, interracial is an option that literally white women can pick that black porn actresses cannot engage in. There's, like, that's not even a market value for them to engage in. So when they say interracial, it's like literally it's the code word for, like, do you want to fuck a black guy? Because if a black woman's asked this, it's not given the same interracial pay option rate, according to some anonymous porn stars from the article I read.
I think that entire model is being subverted by the advent of, like, let's say, like, creator-led platforms, things like OnlyFans, etc., where you're now trying to sell people less on this idea of, like, scarcity and, like, stringing along this mystique of, like, the thing that hasn't been taken, and you're more trying to sell, like, a broad palette of, like, they're no longer going with this, like, like 4-course meal principle, and they're like, it's a diner, order whatever, we've got everything on the menu. Do you know what I mean? And so now I think for the first time you're seeing more people be like, like, I do it all, and rather than this being something that's included, you get a pay-per-view for this massive video, and I'm going to charge you an enormous amount of money for the anal scene in comparison. So, like, the pricing still shifts. Interracial as a whole, I think, is becoming increasingly less stigmatized. That I think that, if anything, maybe, like, female actors of color are more on the shit end of that stick in particular, because I feel like as of late, with the deification of cuck porn, black male performers have broken that stigma of I don't want to see, because I feel like for a long time people, like, wanted to see the color of their penis represented in their porn. I remember always talking with, like, my black friends growing up and being like, does it, like, bug you when there's, like, a white dick? Are you like that I can't connect to that optically because that isn't my dick? You know what I mean? And I had a lot of friends who reported that it was something they didn't necessarily prefer of the porn they consumed.
I never even thought about that. I couldn't even fucking tell you. I don't think I ever really gave that any conscious thought.
Sure.
So I'd have to, like, really, like, try to go back and think about, like, what was going through my head on a subconscious level at that point.
I think that the really interesting thing I've been seeing, though, is, like, women of color in particular in sex, they are kind of, like, because of the, let's say, like, predominance of, like, Eurocentric beauty standards and the ways in which, it's like they tend to only be, valued and utilized in quote unquote, like, ebony context, which is also horrific that still exists. The concept of an ebony performer is weird, but, like, it still is entirely, like, like, that's kind of where you're relegated. That is where you work. You work with black men. You know what I mean? And if you break out of that, it's considered pretty fucking a significant triumph. I mean, most popular porn stars growing up for me were white women. I don't think that's shifted significantly since.
Yeah.
But I don't know, man. It's an interesting thing when you consider that the demand oftentimes drives the supply, right? And that when you have, largely a predominantly white American populace consuming, even by the numbers, even if every man is jerking off, it's going to be predominantly white men. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
They're going to play to that fantasy.
For now, until all the illegals take over, and then
fucking
white will be the minority by 2060. Get fucked.
Yeah.
Sorry, white guys.
It's such an interesting caveat, man, in that, like, I don't know, seeing where it is, the development of these fantasies comes from. It's like, I think that we're seeing an increasing kind of skew towards certain taboos because of the same thing we're seeing algorithmically with the exaltation of extremes. It generates clicks when it's shocking. You know what I mean? I don't know. Like, I think that it forms taste because I think that we're pretty adaptive, and what we're mostly presented with, we'll find a way to salvage. But I feel like a lot of times it was like, oh shit, my favorite porn stars are making stepsis videos, and then before you know it, you're like, oh, this is kind of a hot, weird taboo that someone's into. You know what I mean? More than there was like a demand
I will say
for it.
that was one of the most popular tags. I like stepsister, like top 10
because it's almost taboo. It's like just taboo enough.
It's
almost a big no, but
because it's not blood relative incest. Like it's just it's like
I shouldn't, but I'm not gonna go to jail for it.
Yeah,
you know
it's
what
an
I mean?
environmentally constructed taboo that doesn't have like the deep seeping stigma.
Yeah, exactly.
That just actual incest has.
Yeah, it's
right?
why they'll do. You'll see more of like the college professor stuff than you probably will like high school teacher nowadays. You know what I mean? Because one is like a legitimate kind of like. But still, it's like that's an adult in the video. You don't, if you're turned on by the role play of it, it's whatever. But I don't know, man. When I think about the present like terrain and how it's formed, I think that we have an algorithmic issue in all forms of media that's being perpetuated via algorithms and like the selection biases therein, and we're drifting towards an obsession over extremes and outlandish principles and contexts, and so when you just have a thumbnail to click on and you're building an algorithm based on click-through rate, the thing with the preposterous looking penis is probably going to be like, what the fuck is that, and so you're getting a lot more clicks, it's seeing more eyes.
That's an important
and that's
thing.
what
You're right.
The cuckold porn concept is, though. It's like it's typically like a 5'5" black dude, a fucking 4'10" white woman, and like a good like 8-inch dick, and that thing looks like it could fucking like absolutely devastate the cosmos. Like you could fuck the moon with it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And like it's creating a fiction that I think is like. It's playing into an anxiety that people have had for decades about the mystique of like black male sexuality and the sense of the black dick, and like it's doing nothing but I think perpetuating division in a very real way, where men are becoming more weary of women who have had multiple partners, who have had black partners in particular. This obsession over female virginity.
You're going so fast. There's like two things I want to say. So one is that. So you're not wrong there. We should definitely be considering here. I think everyone's aware of how acute YouTube is with like click-through rate, watch retention, what's your title, what's your thumbnail, dude. And we don't give that same level of scrutiny to porn sites, which are definitely doing that, by the way.
Wait until fucking
Chad, they are min-maxing so hard, or
wait until
maxing actually. I'm sorry,
wait until Brazzers figures out how much more engagement they can get if they put a smiling Mr. Beast on the thumbnail.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
I gave 40 women orgasms. They've never had them, in parentheses.
I would argue worse than that. Okay.
If I don't give 40 women orgasms, I lose $1 million. The catch? I do it in a Lamborghini. Like, God, dude, Mr. Beast themed porn, Mr. Beast porn parodies, that is my backup plan for if Twitch implodes. I'm gonna do this.
Dude, I'm trying to, before I forget what I was gonna say, I think you're actually onto something before that shit post, though not really. About like, because once we have like hyper dynamic thumbnails catered to your algorithmic biases, or we have like like I'm talking like an A B C D E F thumbnail, and like you make like 3, and there's like just AI's gonna shit out the other like variants for you, and you just have like hyper dynamic thumbnailing powered by generative AI shit or whatever, bro, it's gonna be fucking wild. And then you compound that with like the titling as well being super dynamic.
We're starting to conflate curiosity with like compelling or engaging content, right? And so what you have are things that the most outlandish or absurd takes are going to be, and the most outlandish or absurd principles are going to be the things that take, like I fuck my stepsister. It's like, that's a bizarre thing. My stepsister's stuck in the washing machine. Why do you think it became such a meme? And why do you think it became so perpetuated? People clicked on that video and it probably sent it to the stratosphere because they were like, what the fuck are they sending here? You know what I mean? Like, and so it's the same premise that I think exalts dudes like Andrew Tate who go live and they're like, depression isn't real and women are, worthless after 19. You know what I mean? It's like, what? I got like it doesn't matter if you agree or disagree. So either you're impressionable enough to be like, maybe that's true, or you're, lived enough to be like, that's insane. How the fuck's he gonna make that one work? You know what I mean? It's the same thing when you see that fucking cock that looks like it's 15 inches big. It's like, how's she gonna fit that thing? What the fuck? It's like, either you're young enough to be like, oh my god, is that what a dick looks like? Or you're old enough to be like, the fuck is it? How? I just gotta know now. It's like when you told me someone stuck a whole head in their pussy. I needed to see that.
Oh my god.
Like, because I have enough. Like, I'm curious. Like that would go to the moon now.
Bruh.
If they relaunched that to the moon.
Also, I love that someone in chat actually knew what I was talking about and had the link for us or had the
insane.
title. So I'm not alone there. They knew what I was talking about.
It's just insane.
Yeah.
What the fuck are we going on about in chat? Why did someone say Mel Gibson is mid in chat?
What was I gonna fucking say about this? So I had 2 points when you were going on your tangent. I forgot what the other one was now. Something about porn consumption or some shit.
I have to be wrong though. I saw a Gooner's license plate on a nice ass Audi leaving my neighborhood. Here's the problem though. You just did the age-old capitalist, fiction of ascribing wealth to a sort of like ability or talent or like redeemableness of some kind. Like there's something redeeming about them. Dude, that could be a Dogecoin billionaire. We don't know.
We don't know.
We just know he put that there. Oh yeah, that's also an Arsenal footy fan. Yeah, Gooner. That's funny. Now I want to just go and ask a bunch of people in the UK if they're Gooners and stave sound bites. Oh no, but me brothers. Oh yeah, he goons. Big Gooner.
Oh, I remember what I was gonna say now.
Yeah.
Have we already discussed this, the rise of penis implants?
Oh god, I don't even want to talk about that.
No, let's listen. Okay, I covered my stream because I didn't think it was real, and I did a wake stream. I got rabbit holed so hard that I did not think this actually existed.
I'm gonna be honest with you. I think that this is almost dangerous to talk about because people are that far gone.
Well, I mean, when we talk about it, I'm gonna bring up how torturous and terrible how the success rate is low when the guy who did it's like getting sued by like fucking 11 people right now.
Yeah,
like it's
no,
not.
it's all the
like,
point.
It's
been well
I'm not gonna
documented.
endorse it. I'm gonna bring up how disastrous it is.
Yeah,
and,
it's
like,
some fucking fraud dude in California who's essentially just fucked up a bunch of dudes' dicks because
you know of it then.
Yeah, thrusting like silicone tubes in people isn't something that they don't hold up that well when you do that. It's like imagine if you got breast implants and just punched it every day over and over again. That doesn't make sense. It doesn't stay lodged. So yeah, no, it's to me.
Oh my god.
It's like it's so dangerous that I don't want the few people who are insecure enough to pursue it to even like encounter this shit.
Yeah, chat. You shouldn't. Yeah, like this is like it's not even comparable to breast implant because it's like you have blood chambers that are expanding.
No,
like the implication
horrifying.
you can even like have these like expanding blood chambers function properly with a fucking.
There are like full penile replacements though for people with like terminal erectile dysfunction, like their dicks do not get hard. Mm-hmm. They can have like literal like inflation things that they can like pump. That shit works. Some people use that. I think you have to get it replaced though, and that actually sounds horrifying. Bionic cock though.
Do you want second gear?
It's like an arm, yeah. You just have to sit there. That's the dream. Yeah, that's what a real man is. Make no mistake.
Engage autopilot.
Yeah, penis on his arm. Isn't there a guy who has a penis on his arm? Hopefully, I need to meet him. That's my husband. That's my next move. I don't know. It's interesting because like when we talk about this whole concept of like hyper reality in particular, and how it could lead to someone like butchering their cock and balls, and things of that nature. It's like, what I think is also important to like, is there like a compelling solution that isn't like puritanical and like untenable? Because you have like the reality of porn and the development of taste. And it's like, I don't think you're ever going to stop the escalation and exaltation of weird kind of like racialized fetishes and things of that nature until we get a lot of the kind of like racialized discourse purged. And the problem is they perpetuate one another, right? You're going to have a whole new rise in men who are buying into the BBC myth and like, fucking like really aligning with this sense of like sexual supremacy. You know what I mean? And I don't know, when I think about what I would like to see from the collective discourse is more about how do we create better systems of like sex education and like really delving into the actual like statistical data sets and the reality of like porn as illusion rather than just the acknowledgement of porn as illusion. It's the difference between saying that like Kim Kardashian edits her photos or something and showing how they do it in like comparisons and before and after, because there are like way better websites. I think there's like a whole website dedicated to this on the internet called like Unraveling Cock or Unraveling Size or something like that you could probably look at, that really try to make clear the ways in which like, you know, presentation of porn is completely
I'd even go as far as say, like, I mean, should we even assume that they're fucking natty? You know, like, are these cocks that you're seeing in porn, are they natty? Is this like,
all of the cocks are like, I think that the reality is that they're natty in the same way I think a lot of people in like the gym are natty. Does that make sense? It's like most of these cocks are like much like dudes. It's like, what's the perfect like lighting and illusion I can create through posing to make it seem huge? You know what I mean? It's like, I might not look massive, but if you put me next to like the scrawniest, smallest person, you know, I might look like I'm kind of a tank. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's like, it's the same thing when it comes to, you know, the cock. It's like a cock and I think it's why men are, secretly, this is my take, I think it's why a lot of men are obsessed with small women, is that they want to experience the feeling of having a huge dick. You know what I mean? And so they're like, you know, fetishizing like 5 foot tall women, you know, over and over and over again.
Yeah,
okay,
I'm thinking
dude.
like, you know, like it's just like they have the what's it, the fucking the cock gun? What's it called? The pump. They use a pump and you know, it's all that shit, right? Any jump and cut and everything else here. Like,
yeah, a ton of ways to like
there's
pumping
all these
for like, you know, inflating. Yeah, you can get like whatchamacallit, these penis pumps. Yeah, that's like super part of the course in porn. You know what I mean? But I don't think it like really makes for a good dick. You know, like, that can't do anything, like, it's gotta fucking do weird shit over time. I can't imagine that constantly.
I was thinking just make you numb. I just can't feel shit after, like.
Nah, small women trigger power fantasies, plus actually easier to hold them. For some, sure, but, you know, I see you, men. I'm among you. I have walked these roads alongside.
Once we have like genetic engineering.
Also using Viagra. Yeah, also, fucking Viagra to maximize hardness. You have things like fucking the Caverject. You know what that is?
No.
It's a literal, so it's like it forces an erection. Where Viagra makes it easier by relaxing and
Thank you so much. Hardness.
Best friend. Caverject literally forces blood to the penis. Like, you inject something into your cock that forces an erection. It's called a medically.
Now you're saying people do this when they're not medically diagnosed to need it?
Yes.
Okay,
yeah,
so
it's like the anabolic steroid.
Well, damn,
it's
well, wouldn't you just have like a unbearable like 6-hour erection or some shit? Like, if you
dude, they shoot for like, I don't know how long. Like, porn videos take 4 to 6 hours to shoot. Like, you have to keep your erection for very long periods of time. It's insane.
Oh, okay. You know, this is kind of like what you're saying right now is like the mystery being revealed here, because in the same way, most cooking shows, Cutthroat Kitchen, Chopped, etc., they're very often eating the food like an hour after it was made. Mm-hmm. Like, it's like they have to like get the shot and do all the angles, and them actually eating it is happening long after it was already made.
They'll literally inject shit into you know, like the penis to like shoot like into the urethra to shoot out as cum in the cum shot. It's gonna be like peeing. Where they'll like essentially like it's bizarre. Like, they'll create fake cum shots. Like, dude, the shit is nuts.
Yeah.
And you want to know who that's for? Just dudes who have this like weird like conflation with nut size and like sexual like gravity. Like, you're gonna have more sex if you are able to really cover an individual with nut. You know what I mean? Yes.
That's what I have to do, though, right?
Yeah, I know a couple people.
The hentai splooge.
I know a couple people who work in porn. Like, this is all very well substantiated here. The injecting something into your penis to make it hard.
That's the whole thing I was trying to say, Chad. Like the facade is to make it pass as natty, but it's like making a movie.
Yeah,
you know,
it's nuts.
Prop effects, dynamics, After Effects, post editing.
And so, but now again, like, the question is like, to what extent is it something that can be meaningfully mitigated outside of like awareness? Because we've essentially succumbed to the algorithm overlord of like, this thing decides what we see and don't see, and its entire value metric is whether or not people click on things, not whether or not it's good or meaningful or valuable. It's literally, does this get clicks? Because again, it's all funneled through the capitalist imperative of, can I use this to sell things? And if things get clicks, it can get, valued for ads. You get paid more because you need to get paid more to be valuable, to be fuckable, because your cock isn't big enough, and a big black man with a big black dick is going to fuck your girlfriend if you don't make money. And if you're black, you're not black enough, and you don't have a big enough dick because this dude's got an even bigger, blacker dick, and so you need to have that. Otherwise, people are going to laugh at you for not having a big black dick as a black man. So what do you need to do? You need to go make money so you can buy things so people will think you're valuable, because you just don't have enough dick to be valuable alone, and the only thing that's valuable is your dick, because you watch a lot of porn, and that's what you know now. And so what do, guys? You go and you make dumb fucking Andrew Tate clickbait where you tell people that women aren't people and that you shouldn't fuck anyone who's ever fucked anyone because they're used up. Not because you're insecure, but because that is a de facto truth of the human vagina. And then you somehow become very famous and realize everyone hates you and no one wants to sleep with you for any reason other than clout. And you've alienated yourself from anyone who could ever love you for who you are or what you've done in the world, because all you've done now is scorch the earth. Leave nothing to no feckin' soil. It's all used. You've ruined a generation of boys.
Bars. Can I get that clip, please? That was rap god as fuck right there.
Why do I style my hair like a woman? Because I am one.
Wait. Why did they associate the man bun? I'm just calling it a term that it's going to be recognized as here. Why is the man bun intrinsically a feminine hairstyle to you? Like when was like shoulder length hair patently a womanly trait?
I need you to know, chat. About 8 years ago, didn't have a job. I was a student. I wasn't making a lot of money, and I was faced with two things. I waste $30 a month getting my hair cut, or I buzz it, or I grow it out and let it be. And I just kept growing it out. And I have not cut my hair. I've not paid to cut my hair in like 8 years because I've just kept cutting it. I go through periods of I do a big cut and then I grow it out. And then I do a big cut and then I grow it out because it is cheap. This was just me not wanting to spend money on a haircut. How much money have you saved? Oh, not enough to matter. This is like not getting avocado toast. But at the time when maybe making or breaking your, budget for the month is like a $30, $40, window, it helps, Did you deserve to be poor? Of course. All poor people deserve to be poor, just like all rich people deserve every dollar they have. This is a perfect meritocracy, and I am just a meaning.
What is that question?
Because my cock wasn't big enough.
What is it?
If I had a bigger cock, I never would have been poor.
Did you deserve to be poor? I'm sorry, I'm getting triggered.
Oh no, he's just memeing, of course. I mean,
he's not a sub though. I don't know. Like I got.
Yeah,
when a pleb with no badge drops some dumb shit with no emotes after, like what are you to do? Like how do you infer like tone or inflection without an emoji?
Guys, look, you can go look anywhere. There's no mistaking why it is America is such a wealthy country. It's because we deserve it. Because God wanted us to steal this land from the natives and enrich ourselves with its natural resources and then wage wars of imperialism elsewhere. Well, obviously, why else would everyone be so poor in fucking Micronesia and we be so rich here? There has to be a reason, right?
So it's God's plan for the wealthiest 1/3 of humanity to consume 2/3 of the world.
To consume them. No. Over time, we're meant to consume them all.
Okay, gotcha.
Yeah. No, God, guys, there's clearly not a meritocracy to this. It's a fucking disaster. And it's all designed to make you feel intrinsically insecure and need to substantiate your value through your labor.
So is the end game that the wealthiest people we're gonna consume the majority of the genetic engineering products, and then
so they can make their cocks big.
So once we have our genetically natty big fat cocks, and then having a big
the problem.
Well, here's a question. Okay, honestly, here, if it's just like something as simple as like pay to win big fat cock, and then everyone who's wealthy has like a numbingly boring and predictable big fat cock, will the big fat cock be of desire at that point?
Well, this is what's going to end up happening is that it's going to become mostly when once genetic engineering rolls out, what's going to happen is we're going to have
which is this century.
We're going to have a rapidly declining population as the possibility of penetrative sex is going to go down, and it's going to be mostly men jerking off around each other, comparing load size and cock volume, you know? So like total volume, length, and girth considered. You're going to have a lot more circle jerking, a lot more men enraptured by each other's penises. You know what I mean? That's going to be the big that's what I think we're going to see ultimately. It's going to be a lot of dudes just looking at other dudes' penises, and no one having sex. Because you got to remember too, I mean, men are going to say like, you have to have the tightest vagina, by the way, because for some reason that's a thing. You know what I mean?
Isn't it actually a thing though? Like what's it called? What's it called when you do like when the women have like the roast beef lips and then you have to like,
oh god.
No, I'm just trying to remember what the term is for it. Like you can have like your lips tightened to look like a.
Oh, they can have like a labial like reduction. Like
there you go. Yeah, labial reduction. Yeah,
which is also like a shame. Like, dude, labia is sick. Why the fact that you guys don't like labia is weird. Just like they're there. Just enjoy labiaplasty. Yeah, enjoy that. It's fine.
Can we? Okay, hang on.
Vaginas are floral.
I'm just gonna get nuclear here. Can we talk about the elephant in the room?
Sure.
Can we talk about like Americans and circumcision? Can we just have that talk on it? Thank you so much.
Can't wait to genetically engineer myself into a cat girl in this lifetime, CoPM.
Engineer myself into a cat girl in this lifetime. It's gonna happen, Rask. Don't worry. It's gonna happen, baby. Hold strong.
Can we have that combo though? That is glorified genital mutilation without consent to newborn boys, and it's just perpetuated by either A, archaic religious practice, or B, it's
not archaic. It's clearly just cosmetic in the U.S. Like it's not like all of the religions that practice it most chiefly are like incredibly like minor in total representation. Like the United States is one of the few like non-ethno states to have like a circumcision rate above like 20% or something. Like, it's insane. Ours is, like, close to 70, I think.
Yeah.
And it makes no sense considering, like, the only other countries in the world that do that are, like, literal fucking religious ethno-states. It makes no sense.
Well, from what I understand, because of our backwards ideology on sexuality, it's like, this is, like, from what I understand, its history, and, is, like, at least here to a certain degree was, like, this makes masturbation less desirable, and therefore it rids you of the temptation to be smutful and engage in the devil's
it's
work.
A shame because like I'm circumcised and I rubbed my dick raw the second I knew I could work that shit. The second the possibility of masturbation was brought up to me, I waged war on my genitals. It was an all-out melee, a fucking assault. It was Captain America's Civil War over and over again, dude. It clearly didn't stop me, is all I'm saying. I don't know where they were like, well, then they'll never. Nope. No. Still, look, you're going to have to cut the whole thing off if you want it to stop. And I promise you I'm going to rub that nub into the fucking door frame if I have to.
I try giving it some thought here. And I don't have, like, scientific whatever on it. But just, like, generally it seems like a newborn baby boy is born and the hospital has an incentive to continue to perpetuate the circumcision ritual because, like, they can just tack it onto the bill. It's like you have to, like, opt out of it, and if you don't mention you don't want it done to your newborn son, they're just gonna do it anyway because they can just add on a $500. Do
you want to know something fucked up?
No,
you're right. The doctors botched my circumcision when I was a baby. And I had a MRSA staph infection as a newborn from my circumcision.
God, dude. Chad, listen, I just want to pause here. If you are pro-circumcision, go watch.
Yeah.
Go watch one procedure done. They're probably on YouTube here. Go watch one. Just watch one. Look at see the blood. See what the scar that's going to heal looks like. See what a circumcision before the scar heals looks like.
Circumcision lowers risk of HIV, STD, and UTI. I just don't like it being forced on kids. Here's the real truth of it, okay? Do you want to know what also lowers risk of HIV, STD, and UTI? Playing League of Legends. You want to know why? Because you're not having sex. Yeah, when it doesn't feel as cool, you're gonna have less of it, dog.
Yeah, that's
also think about like where it is. Like the United States is a major outlier when you consider like relative wealth in the world and like awareness of these particular issues, ability to solve these problems. You're gonna get way more of it happening then. Like you're gonna have statistical skews. Like unless you're doing data from like places where people are relatively monogamous and hyper religious. If you're gonna take let's say like U.S. data sets and compare it to like Bolivia or something, you're gonna see a skew towards relative sexual hygiene, health, etc. Because there's probably just better data and information and etc. there. Like I just don't buy it. Can you message Miz the cardboard he was using? God, I guess. I mean, fucking. I'll send him a text. Is Corey live? Can you guys go see if Corey or Russell's there? Go spam Russell. He literally is like across, like he's like a door over from that room. Go spam Russell and tell him to go remove the cardboard. That's a very easy fix.
Yeah, it's just like
people spamming me about dogs eating cardboard. All right.
Yeah, no, it's just it's stupid. Like it's I either feel like it's circumcised dudes who are on the copium to try to like use the medical benefits, and I'm not. And just to clarify here, I'm not anti-circumcision. If you are a consenting adult male who wants to do it to your own shit when you're 18, more power to you. Go ahead and do it. But it's the non-consenting, incapable of consenting newborn boys.
Look, you want to give your shit a haircut, go for it. Don't give other people haircuts. You know what I mean? It's like
that's all
you get
I'm
to
getting at
decide.
here.
It's a cosmetic shift, man. It's
your
on
shit's
you.
more numb. You're losing. You're severing all these nerve endings. Like you think that the cute little ring is like the natural thing. It's actually the unnatural thing. It's actually like that's the scar resulting from the fucking invasive cut that was done. It's just, bro.
It's worse when older. I don't think it's worse. I think you're just an adult and you know that it fucking sucks to have your cock cut. Like, I don't know what, like...
Yeah, who the fuck... I promise you if it was, like, you can do it as an adult, the rate... If it was banned at birth, because it's unconsentful, right? Because it is genital mutilation. It's, like... It's practically the equivalent of, like, having vagina sewed shut in the Middle East or whatever.
Should have been born Catholic. We don't get circumcised. I didn't get circumcised because I wasn't born Catholic. I got circumcised because that was, like, the aesthetic preference. Like, I literally... It was like I'm like a Doberman, you know? Like, I have, like, the dock tail on a fucking, like a fucking, spaniel or something. Like, it was fucked up. You know, I just realized that I made that joke from Arrested Development. You know, what was it? It was like the anti-circumcision group that, whatever. But you know what? Here's the other thing. I also just, regardless, it's like it has sexual function. Like you should leave it as in its default state. I don't.
Yeah, that's kind of where I am with it too.
It does something. You know what I mean? Born and raised Catholic, completely circumcised. Yeah, my dad was Catholic, and that dick was circumcised. Anyone see a lot of their dad's dick growing up? Or is that just my degenerate father, where I just ended up seeing more of his dick than I would have liked? Do you guys see a lot of dad dick?
I did not know. My dad was not really in my life, though. So, like, I divorced parents, you know, sad childhood. My parents fought and threw shit at each other all the fucking time and argued every fucking night. It was pretty awful for me.
Yeah. I wonder if, like, the day your dick gets bigger than your dad's is kind of like the day you're taller than your dad. You know what I mean? If anyone outgrew their dad, it's like a weird thing, you know? Like, does that create like a... I don't know. My dad died when I was too young. I have no idea. But, like, does that create like a power imbalance in the home, you know?
Maybe.
How does he... Does he then start working a lot harder and, you know...
There's a weird thing about heightism, because I didn't think I was short until I became, like, Twitch famous, and it's only then that I got insecure about my height.
Here are the two things terminally online people cannot stop talking about. Height and hairline.
Bro.
I swear to God, it's like all of you think that like, go outside more.
Please
people
touch
just
grass.
Like, there are people with fucking full Larry David horseshoe bald heads dating beautiful women and living their lives, and everyone's like, it's Jover, dude. It's Jover.
No, wait,
I have to be
stories.
6'4", big cock.
I have stories.
I have to be half black, half white, and be.
I have multiple stories.
Yeah.
TwitchCon. I've been to every single one. 2015 through 2019 and 2022, right? I've been to all of them. I've had fans meet me, and they're so excited and giddy that their brain kind of turns off for a second. They just go into autopilot with their subconscious invasive thoughts right away. And they're like, oh my god, try hard. They don't know I'm TriHex. Just in the emote, right? Try hard. Oh man, I thought you're gonna be taller in person. Not once. Not twice. No, this has happened at least 5 times.
Here's the thing, though. I think that's the experience of most people on the internet because, like, you're like larger than life conceptually to them. Like you aren't like you're a real person when they meet you. You know what I mean? Before you're like actually like you're like a lore figure. You know what I mean? Skill issue. Agreed.
Dude, I guess it is true. Yeah, damn, fuck me.
The big issue too is like there's
well,
nothing...
it's into me because it's like okay, like I'm 5'8", and I never thought that was like short. It's only from the public. It's only from being a public figure that I'm like, oh fuck. Well, okay, I need to be 6 foot now. Obviously.
Obsession with it is a symptom of being terminally online. The obsession with anything predetermined, or something that's like let's say like let's say it's in reference to like untapped potential. You get this a lot with IQ on like online discourse where people want to like flex their supposed IQ they got on a fucking online test or whatever.
Stop.
As being like a
people
way to.
That.
But here's the thing:
people do not do that.
Height, hairline, IQ, cock size, all of these things that are indicative of some kind of like predetermined ability that you're just not accessing. It's copium. It's you trying to substantiate your stagnance in life through some kind of like
That's
I could
exactly
do it if I wanted it.
What a cancer would say, and you're being so.
I'm such a cancer.
You're speaking. Yeah. I'm sorry to say, you're all those projections. It's exactly what a cancer would say. So,
isn't 5'9" male average? Yes. And also here's the other thing. It's like, dude, if you're within a few, like, dude. You have to be very short or very tall for people to really take interest in like being like, oh man, like you're here's the other thing. It's like being 6 foot. You could be 5'10". It's not shifting much. People are gonna only really notice when you're like getting to like tall. You know what I mean?
Like 6'5" and onward.
Yeah, like once you're around like I think like a few inches above 6 foot, people start being like, oh, you're tall. You know what I mean? And when you're like getting closer to like 5 foot, people are gonna be like, oh, you're pretty short. You know what I mean? But like for the most part, it's like you're just within the normal range. You know what I mean? I think the presumption is typically that if you're on the internet and people are watching you, you're going to be taller, like you're larger than life. And so like if you're even in strike, like how tall are you?
5'8".
Yeah, you're 5'8". Okay.
Yeah.
Sorry, did you say that? I'm totally spaced out reading chat.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. No, that's like completely in the realm of average. You know what I mean? It's like fine. Also, you have the Miz experience of I think having like a relatively large head. Not that it's like super large, but it's like the anti-Hassan where like Hassan looks big on paper because of how small his head is in comparison to his body. You know what I mean? But like he's also just like a big dude, right? But like when you have a larger head in general, people are going to like assume that I guess Miz gets the you're taller than I anticipated. But he also says he's like fucking like 5'2" or something. Good sized head. Yeah.
Yeah, is that what I didn't just undersell myself here? Yeah, like
yeah.
Okay.
It's like you always tell women your cock's much smaller. You always undershoot it.
Babe, I'm extra medium. Yeah.
Yeah. Always lead with. Then they're gonna be like, oh wow, this is a totally normal penis. It's serviceable. You got to set the expectation on the floor, right? Because then she's sleeping with you for the right reasons, because of your money. You always talk about how much money you have. Small cock, a lot of money. Winning small cock, big balls, a lot of load. All right. Premature ejaculation, a lot of money. That is the de facto ideal male.
Can we add hormone emitting? Like I have like a 5 meter hormone emitting just like you can smell the retention on me.
That you're retaining, dude. That's real. Okay, that is the de facto like most vilifiable community of like the
is that a thing? Is that a thing like hormone enthusiast community? Is that a thing where like they're like?
Are you saying like pheromone?
Yeah. Pheromone.
No, it's not really like, so there are some people who will conflate that with this sort of like, people just look at me differently, I'm glowing. It's like a woman describing their pregnancy when they're like talking about how long they've held their cum in, their little nut baby that they're fucking incubating in their prostate. It's so funny to me, dude, because they're so obsessed with this like aura they think they're emitting, because here's what's happening. You set a goal for yourself and you achieved it. You've said, I'm not going to do a thing. It was hard and you didn't do it. So now you think you can do things. You feel accomplished. There's confidence to it. Not nutting does nothing for you. Nothing. Unless you are nutting so often you aren't doing things with your day. The physiological mechanisms of ejaculation are literally putting you back at baseline. The elevation of, let's say, like prolactin to, act, as like an antagonist to the, excretion of dopamine and testosterone upon orgasm. All of that is acting solely as a way of counterbalancing the rush. You're going back to baseline. Your body's constantly trying to achieve homeostasis. You aren't just becoming this lethargic, like fucking like prolactinoma monster where you're tired all the time. It doesn't make sense. Like the body does not agree with you. Retaining your semen does nothing. It's inert fucking substance. You're not like they're like gonna be like, but there's zinc in there. You already made it. You aren't using it again.
Okay. But okay.
Where's my ring? I got a fidget.
That's you're. I feel like you're just like you're not including the big variable here, bro.
Which?
My semen, unlike yours, you cuck soy pussy loser.
It's tasty.
I'm unvaxxed. I have unvaxxed semen, and therefore it's it's like Bitcoin 2.0. Like you're just like I'm going to the moon.
Oh, yeah.
Like
Oh yeah, no, 100%. It's
like
it's jet fuel.
Women are going to want like when I deposit my sperm at the sperm deposit area, when it freezes and all that, like it's gonna be like worth like
it's holy water.
Yeah, like it's going to literally.
That's how you test if she's a vampire.
They will measure my shit. It's going to obliterate ETH. It will
Guys.
be like beyond any other crypto. Like it is the future.
It's the New Age Salem witch trials. It's bukakiing a astrology chick with your retained nut.
Yeah, it's gonna be like A1 Wagyu, but
Yeah.
women are gonna want to like bathe and they're gonna cream pie with the highest of optimal of unvaxxed sperm.
Someone said, I don't know, man. Strong cultural/religious directives to never jerk off and courting women being your only recourse to come has to be a hell of a motivator. It is, but that doesn't mean that it's doing anything for you on. Look, semen retention is one thing. No fat being more of like a try not to masturbate to porn for 90 days, I actually think is a good thing. I did it when I was younger. It led to some kind of weird, kind of like eating disorder-y kind of feelings I had about coming for a bit. But, I got over that because I was like 17. But I'll tell you that
Actually, can you tell me about that experience again? Because I remember you kind of alluded to it in our first convo, for the 5-hour convo we had like weeks ago. So you did do no fat for how long again?
I did it for like 6 months when I was in
Holy
high school.
Shit! Okay. And you did it under the premise that you thought it was gonna make you like superhuman or some shit, or like
I really did it because I was I had my first sexual experience. I couldn't stay hard enough to have sex, and I was super anxious about that.
Okay.
And I realized in retrospect, as I kind of like trial and errored, it was like I was anxious about the thought of not satisfying her more than I thought. Like I was like, oh man, porn has eroded my ability to be aroused. It doesn't. That's not real. Like it doesn't. It only does it in the event that it's like all you're consuming a lot of it. But like, I don't know, man. I've gone through periods where I was using porn pretty heavily and I had no problem sexually once I had more confidence and experience to me. I will say that sex got better and I desired my partner more when I wasn't masturbating outside of that. But like when I'm single and stuff, it's fine. In relationships, I try to keep all of my sexual energy for a partner because, I just find that tends to make for a better bond with someone sexually.
Yeah, for sure.
Like if I can, why wouldn't I? I have someone who wants to fuck. They want my nut. You know what I mean? Why would I not give that to them in that context? Do you know what I mean? Like, if they don't want to fuck that night, then I just anticipate the next night more. Like that's cool for me. I like that more. But the whole point was that it taught me more that I was like gooning in a way that was not healthy. I was like edging for long periods of time and like watching a lot of porn because it was stimulating, and I have a dopamine deficient brain that craves stimulation.
Right.
Others.
Yeah, so you're doing everything short of ejaculation. You're just like, so
it's like just
your porn
maintaining
consumption
a
was
high.
going. Yeah, your porn consumption was higher. You were more impulsive, and
so for me, I found that if I was just masturbating to my thoughts, I was less likely to extend the session, and it was going to be more utility and not me being like indulgent on a dopaminergic level, which is something I learned about how I masturbate and what my like impulses were. And so I try to stay away from porn now because of that, just because I know that I'll waste more time if porn is there. You know what I mean? But it has nothing to do with anything outside of that. Nothing to do with that outside of that. Like there's no physiological mechanism you're satisfying through NoFap outside of like a 13-person study done in Japan that says in 7 days your testosterone peaks and then magically plummets on day 8. It literally does not make sense. It literally does not make sense. And so that was just more of like what made sense there. Like for me, when I assessed like the actual physiological mechanisms of it, it was all essentially placebo of people being like, now you're doing the right thing for you as a man. You're retaining your life force. And none of it made sense because then I'm like, wait, but when I'm in a relationship and I'm like nutting prolifically, I feel great. It's not changing my sense of, like nothing. There was no actual like, even like experiential data supporting it. You know what I mean? In contrast to
I think
the
I've become
retention,
even more Sigma, honestly.
yeah, people have said that regular ejaculation reduces risk of prostate cancer, but like even still, it's like that was kind of an older men, I think, and that could just be more indicative of like general vitality and like good health. You know, the desire to ejaculate often rather than like it being like pure, because they don't think they were like, I'm no fapping. Like 65-year-olds weren't doing that. I think they were probably just not horny because they weren't healthy. But that could also be, regardless, I don't think that there's a massive health benefit or detriment to coming or not coming. I think that it's more about like just your psychological health and like relationship to it. Sex and masturbation relieves stress though. It can. It's fun.
Yeah.
So does playing video games. I mean, like there are a number of things that can relieve stress. You know. Also, I found
you're biologically wired to release dopamine.
I also prefer to have sex, and I find that if I'm masturbating a lot, I'm probably less motivated to pursue it, and I prefer to have sex typically. You know what I mean? Like, it's a more fun way to ejaculate, and so I don't want to like masturbate and then have a sexual opportunity be opened up to me and be like not into it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I'd rather go pursue it personally. You ain't a real gooner, admit it. I know it's stolen valor, man. It's stolen valor. But yeah, it's a lot of like just like confirmation bias essentially with the no-fap shit. It kind of is a monster of a mess.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know, man. What do you think about I don't know. How do we like bow this? Because I know it's late. I don't know how much later you stay up.
Yeah, I'm getting. So it's like I'm getting hungry again, which means I need to probably go to bed.
Yeah.
So it's just like I'm not pushing my body beyond whatever.
Sex has sweat. That is gross, dude. That is sex with your mother involves every fucking bodily fluid I can imagine. It's just a fucking
wait. This guy just say that like getting sweaty during sex is an L? Like, is that what he said?
You're a super hot guy. Don't tell Chet not to nut. I have literally never communicated don't nut. I'm saying that for me personally, I prefer pursuing sex and sexual relationships with people to masturbating. And and here's the other thing, man. Even if you don't feel as if you're like this ideal person, I promise you there is a line of people who want to have sex with you. You're just probably so sold on this fiction of like women have to look like this specific thing in order for me to be aroused by them because you're consuming too much porn that you aren't seeing just how viable. Like, I'll tell you what, dude, not masturbating has broadened, not consuming porn.
Not consuming porn.
And like just fantasizing about things I experience in my day and like things I'm like curious about, you know? That broadened my sexual horizons in terms of like who I thought I could like be turned on by and who I thought I could be sexually.
Imagine what like an Amish person does, you know? Imagine how their sexual like spectrum is like stimulated appropriately, you know?
Yeah, like it's
you're extending so far beyond your natural spectrum of what you're exposed to, and in saturation as well.
Yeah, there's so much more that you could be turned on by than you think, just based on your very like limited actual like entertaining, like how little you maybe like entertain like the fringes of your sexual impulse. You know what I mean? So I don't know. I'm a big fan of trying to remain more like open-minded and really explore it. And I think that for people who are like solely jerking off, to like the most like refined sexual fantasy they can find with the most beautiful people they can identify, you're really denying like the true boundlessness of like our ability to be fucking perverts and degens. You know what I mean? It's guiding your gaze too much. There are plenty of people who want to fuck you that you want to fuck. Plenty. So please.
So how would I put a bow on this? I don't really know. I did want to bring up like one more like dank fact. Since you had now gotten to like actually fucking, and I don't know how to like get back there without just like randomly bringing up this thing that's like, it's kind of a flex, but it's not really. It's more meant to. It's meant to be wholesome. I know I'm preluding a lot here, but it's chat. Yeah, sex is pretty awesome. You could potentially ejaculate without orgasming. It's pretty fucking sick, and then you can just like double or even triple ejaculation in one night. It's pretty fucking rad. Something you'll never get with fapping.
You ejaculate without orgasm, or you orgasm without ejaculating?
Ejaculating without coming. Yeah.
So,
wait. Like you secrete. Yeah, like.
You secrete cum, but you don't orgasm.
Correct. So you can just
I've only ever heard it in the inverse.
It was I'm trying to like. See, people are gonna like extrapolate really hardcore here. I'm just bringing up here that like the physicality.
TriHex, you were peeing.
Huh?
That was pee.
No, bro, no. Like, or like.
Oh yeah, babe, it's a watery one, but it's coming.
bro. Okay, all right. I was trying to like bring up like the physicality and the connection of like sex. It can achieve something that like rampant masturbation I think cannot comparatively. I was trying to like get to that. Maybe I shouldn't have made it so overly anecdotal because now I'm just like I have to like now defend that stance and like explain better what.
Yeah, when were you pissing cum?
I was not pissing fucking cum, dude. Bro, it's.
You're just describing fluid coming out of your prostate.
Let's just drop it.
No.
Because we're gonna. I don't even know how to like. I don't know how to explain. Okay, we'll just. Okay, you're right. You're right. I was pissing cum. Okay, we're moving on. It's
cum
fine.
Pissing.
It's yeah. I was.
You'll never piss cum,
stored the balls. I was pissing. You're right.
This is the thing that you'll never experience.
I pulled it R. Kelly. I was golden showering on these girls. Yep. You're right. I didn't want to say it because it's.
No. I mean, he was pissing piss. You're pissing cum. It's different. R. Kelly was into pissing piss on women.
That is true. Yes.
Pissing cum is that. Look, man, this is where the cuckold fantasy's gone awry. Okay, You'll never be able to piss cum. You know. You'll never be able to, and your woman will never respect you for it. You know what I mean? TLDR, cuckold thing is real, and you should be afraid.
They're coming for y'all.
Yeah.
Oh, I remember what I was going to say now. Here's what I was going to say. There was this Twitter thing I saw, and I'm like, there's no way this is fucking real. This is like forever ago, when I forgot the two things I was saying. There was this thing about, body count, right? Uh-huh. What's your body count, women's body count. There was this A/B poll. Did I tell you a story? There was this A/B poll about like, okay, there's a woman. Woman A has a body count of like 70.
Oh, I think
but it's 0 black guys. And then woman B has a body count of 10, but 7 of them of the 10 were black men. Mm-hmm. Which one would you rather date?
Yeah, and it was probably overwhelmingly like.
Oh my god, dude! Now, mind you, it was a Twitter poll, so I think it wasn't really here, but like, still, though, it was like, first off, this question you being asked
manipulating the
it's already in a circle of like people who are terminally online and completely detached from reality here. But yeah, they overwhelmingly wanted the higher body count with less black men.
Yeah.
Than the tainted blacked woman who had been with.
It's what we had referenced earlier. How like we literally we have made synonymous the experience of being sexual with black men as having experienced some kind of weird tainting transcendent thing that you could never touch. So like, and it's all built on this fucking like literally like at its core, it is a racist mythology. It is a racist myth designed to vilify blackness. Like that's it. That like it was no different than the way that they would literally depict fucking demonic spirits as having huge dicks. Like it was this premise of like this is synonymous with villainy. There's no scientific legitimacy to it that's ever been documented or observed. It's all just people panicked about the fact that they might not have a big enough dick. And if you don't have a big enough dick, you aren't going to be able to keep them as a partner because you have read all of these fucking fictions of people who were awful partners to their significant other who were left, who are convinced that it was because they didn't have a big enough dick or something to that extent. Some kind of long-winded fucking like incel like diatribe. And I think it's horrific. Yeah, it's literal anti-blackness. That's it.
Yeah.
You know, it's it has to do with the fucking pornography that's perpetuated so frequently. It is the eroticization. Eroticization, is that the right word for it?
Eroticization. Yeah,
eroticization of fear, ultimately, in building fear around betrayal and inadequacy. You know what I mean? And then combining that with something you don't understand in a myth that's long-standing representing of sufficiency, which is this idea of like, you know, black male sexuality. You know what I mean? It's a really fucked up intersection of fears.
Yeah.
And it's sad. But it's also totally illegitimate. And I think that the reality of like making clear how it is porn fictionalizes this, you know, what the selection biases are, the historicity of this kind of like, conflation of like barbarism and big dick and how it's, you know, a myth of white supremacy spanning millennia almost, you know, is something that's really important, right? Because like how you educate around it's going to be important to like thwarting the consumption of it, you know? Also, how it is like, you know, people frame the penis in porn to make it seem bigger than it is, etc., is all super, super, super important. It's all illusion and you know, narrative manipulation, and it's sad. You sound like Lord of the Rings. Okay?
Yeah, chat. I would encourage you to maybe look into like some kind of like expose making of porn documentary that reveals all the it's like layer 1 of like 5 of the gimmicks being used to present what you're seeing as the final result.
Just big words. My sweet prince. You can just say you don't understand it.
Well, there's a Twitch thing where like if your syllable count gets too high, the syllables per rolling minute, you're going too high, bro. You got to like remember the average American adult has a somewhere between a 3rd to 5th grade reading level.
Yo, Hawkman, thank you for the 5, dude.
So whenever you're hitting like these like when you're hitting these like sometimes like 25 plus syllables in under like 10 seconds, you have to like really dial it back because you're insulting his intelligence. He feels threatened by
no, I really mean this. I don't ever want to like be like inaccessible and like I'm not smarter for knowing big words. Literally never has any relevance to like your actual comprehension of something. It's just the vernacular. It's my word choice ultimately. It's what I was raised in and what I use. Okay, wait, what'd you say? Hold on. Give me a shot. I don't even remember what I was explaining earlier. I think what I was saying is that there's no scientific like basis for the BBC myth in the fiction. It's all a way of making a sort of like let's say like irresistible product by taking the two things we consume most frequently, what we want to fuck and what we fear, and combining them. And we fear betrayal, we fear inadequacy, and we love watching people fuck. And you create an incredibly seductive cocktail of it at the expense of black men everywhere, because you make it one such that the engagement of black men sexually is something that is seen as a failure or something worthy of vilification. In the same way that we now make black men feel as if they have to match this obscene and totally, mythologized concept of sexual performance and like penis size. It just doesn't make sense. But yeah, taking the two things we can't stop consuming, what we fear and what we want to fuck, and making it into, one cohesive product is, a super problematic, it's like, I don't know, man. It's like mixing uppers and downers in a way. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. It's not a good thing.
Yeah, you put it very well. It's like taking doom scrolling on social media, but
giving you a boner.
But it's like hyper dopamine manipulative, and algorithmically driven, and probably a third thing I'm forgetting here too. But yeah, it's a pile of shit.
So stand against it. Talk about how it's not real. Don't support it. You know what I mean? You'll be
talk to women. Promise you, it's not even on their radar. There's like a top 5 concern of like compatibility. It's like, am I safe with you? Are you trustworthy? Are you not a dick?
Look, the best thing you can do if you want to get laid more is ask women what they like before you have sex with them, and replicate that.
And then after y'all fuck, maybe ask for feedback. Don't
be nice.
Don't let your insecurities like make you fear data. I mean, I'm sure she'll be happy to give you feedback on what can improve.
What the black men have a more realistic opinion on whether the poon is trash. Did they hit again or call back? I'd pick that one. What are you talking about? How is that even relevant?
I don't even.
What?
What's it with like first time chats and just like
everyone wants to get their say in?
That
was nonsense. I didn't get it.
Maybe he's on a 5-minute delay. Maybe like his like on like a Starlink connection or some shit.
I'm so confused, dude. Can we get a captcha in here for him? That was it was like it's like.
I think it was like that's like a 5-minute ago comment. Honestly,
it's like a Chat GPT trained on like 1992 rhetoric. That's so weird. What a strange one. Well, I don't know if I have more organic thoughts on this that aren't probed.
No, I think we're this has been great.
Yeah, I've enjoyed it. We can maybe do a check-in and do a chat on something in the future and just keep fucking,
Yeah,
there's
keep
a good
doing
thing to chat on.
Yeah.
Have a call, maybe invite some people, do a table, a round table. Someone should train an AI on Twitch chat. It would be fucked up. We don't need it. It would just be TriHex7 over and over again.
Yeah, it would be like.
Thoughts on the conflict and the Gaza Strip? TriHex7. TriHex7.
I think I'd rather see an AI trained on Wake's vernacular attempting to replicate like Ebonics. I think that would be kind of funny.
You just want to hear my voice speaking Ebonics or my word choice, Ebonicize.
It's like it would be funny to see.
Also a dumb word, right? Ebonics.
Yeah, I know it's a fucking stupid word. No,
hooked on Ebonics.
It'd be fun to see like an AI try really sweatfully to like deliberately dumb down your vernacular to like double syllable at most.
Yeah.
But then still pronounce it like really pristine. So it's just like I just want it to trigger the uncanny for me. I want it to be like really uncanny, like just like it's like goofy.
Yeah, if you want to just watch any white dude on a reality show hitting on a black woman, it is essentially that.
Oh man, yeah, that's it. When their voice goes like artificially deep too. Hey, what's up, girl? Hey, what's up? Up, nodding, chilling.
Yeah.
What's up?
What up, sister? Should we rendezvous at my fat crib and then kick it? It's like I literally watched something like that. It was awful. It was horrific. It was a white dude who was like hitting on a black woman, and he was immediately like being like, I want a lady in the streets, but a freak and he saw that she was like not into it, and he was like, oh, how does it finish? What is the last one on that? I kind of.
Would you consider fornicating for the sole purpose of procreation? Because I am sexually interested and aroused by your rump and posterior. Your glutes are quite voluptuous, and I'm mesmerized by...
And yeah, that is how I talk dirty, by the way, chat. It works.
Yeah, no, it exactly.
All right. Well, here,
well,
chat, let's say goodbye to TriHex mods. Can we shout out TriHex?
Hey. Thank y'all for having me. Fun, good stuff here. Also, I'm not insulted you didn't need me.
I even forgot about them.
No, it's cool. I silently took the quest bar that I offered him some quest.
We were just in the middle of training. I didn't even think about it.
It's a cool. I politely took them. I'm not even gonna. Don't even worry about it. Not even mad.
All right, baby.
Not even mad.
All right, be safe out there.
All right, bro. Have a good nocturnal degeneracy.
I'll do my best. All right, guys. We are going to probably. What do we think? Should we watch an episode of Beauty and the Geek?